Hey there, folks. Welcome to Jim Tells You. I'm Jim, and boy, do I have a lot to tell you. A few weeks ago, I decided to start this channel, and let me tell you, it's been one heck of a ride already. I'm so excited to share all sorts of crazy, interesting, and downright mind-blowing stuff with you all. Now, you might be wondering, Jim, what's this channel all about? Well, buckle up, because we're going on a wild ride through just about everything under the sun and beyond. We're talking news, current events, and all that jazz, but with a twist. You see, I'm not your average Joe news guy. I like to dig deep, ask the tough questions, and sometimes, well, let's just say things get a little out there. Speaking of out there, let me tell you about our conspiracy theory segments. Oh boy, these are going to be fun. We're going to dive into all those juicy theories that keep you up at night. You know, the ones your crazy uncle talks about at Thanksgiving dinner? Yeah, those ones. But here's the kicker, we're going to look at them with a critical eye, have some laughs, and maybe, just maybe, uncover some mind-blowing truths. But wait, there's more. Are you ready for this? We're going to talk about ancient aliens. That's right, folks, those big-headed green little fellas that supposedly built the pyramids and taught our ancestors how to make killer guacamole. We're going to explore all those theories, from the plausible to the downright wacky. It's going to be a blast. Now, I know what you're thinking, Jim, this all sounds great, but what about the serious stuff? Don't worry, I've got you covered. We're going to tackle government cover-ups head-on. No stone left unturned, no shadowy figure left in the dark. We're shining a light on all the secrets they don't want you to know about. It's going to be eye-opening, folks. But hey, it's not all serious business and tinfoil hats around here. We're going to have some fun, too. I'm talking reviews of the latest movies, TV shows, and video games, and let me tell you, I've got some hot takes that'll make your head spin. We'll dive into the world of comic books, exploring the latest storylines and debating who'd win in a fight between Batman and Iron Man. Spoiler alert, it's Batman, always Batman. And for all you music lovers out there, we've got a treat for you. We're going to break down the hottest tracks, uncover hidden gems, and maybe even dabble in some music conspiracy theories. Did Paul McCartney really die in 1966? Is Tupac still alive? We'll get to the bottom of it all. Now, I know what you're thinking, Jim, this sounds amazing, but what about food and drinks? Well, let me tell you, we're not leaving that stone unturned either. We're going to explore culinary delights from around the world, try out some crazy food combinations, and maybe even uncover some secret restaurant menus, and don't even get me started on the drinks. We are going to mix up some cocktails that will knock your socks off and maybe even discover the secret ingredient in Coca-Cola. Who knows? But here's the thing, folks. This channel isn't just about me telling you stuff. It's about us, this community we're building. I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your own theories, and let's get a conversation going. And hey, if you're feeling extra generous, those super chats are always appreciated. I promise I'll do my best to respond to each and every one of them. Now, I know I've thrown a lot at you, but trust me, it's going to be one heck of a ride. We're going to laugh, we're going to learn, and we might even blow our minds a few times along the way. But here's the most important part. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell. You don't want to miss out on all this awesomeness. Do you? And hey, while you're at it, give that like button a little love too. It helps the channel grow, and the more we grow, the more crazy stuff we can explore together. Who knows? Maybe we'll even uncover the truth about why YouTube keeps changing its algorithm. Now that's a conspiracy theory I can get behind. So, are you ready to join me on this wild adventure? Are you ready to question everything you thought you knew? Are you ready for Jim Tells You? Because let me tell you, folks, I'm ready to blow your minds. So buckle up, grab your tinfoil hats, and let's get this show on the road. I can't wait to see you all in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep being awesome. This is Jim, signing off. See you soon, folks.
Hey everybody, happy Sunday. This is another wonderful day here in paradise that is YouTube and the world. We're seeing a lot of things happening, lots of important stuff going on that we're going to talk about today. So many things. Before we get started, let me bring him, got a couple guests here. We got Dave from BTM Reviews. How you doing, Dave?
I'm good, Jim. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm just here to tell people, things that they should think about, stuff. And
You're telling us what to look out for and what to maybe think about. That's why I love this show. It's a little more smarter than my show.
AI Jim is so much better than real Jim. Jim has never been so animated. Yes, that is true. Jim was very animated. And hey, look, it says Julio. How you doing, Mr. Julio?
I'm doing fine, Jim. Dave, how are y'all?
Outstanding, buddy.
I'm here to break down the hottest
weekend.
tracks, Jim. You keep promising we're going to do that, so I keep showing
I
up.
do that. I do that usually, just not on the show, which is strange because I say I'm going to do it on a show and I don't. So
I'm waiting for you to cook a pizza on a live stream.
no, can't do that. But yeah, I made 2 pizzas today. One with everything on it and one with just sausage and onion. But it's good stuff. Tasted good. Really good. So what do you guys know?
Delicious.
What do you say? Yeah, a lot of stuff happening. There was I don't even remember how long ago it was. There was like a meeting in the White House and some little midget dude got told to leave and people are freaking out.
He's still alive?
He's still alive. I didn't think he would still be alive.
Well, he's making a tour through Europe with his collections cup and apparently having pretty good results.
Yeah, I realized the other day, and I tried to tell somebody, but they wouldn't respond, why Eric July calls his, and this is the only, I usually, Sundays are usually not about Eric July at all. I usually don't like to talk about Eric July at all, but considering we brought up the word collections, I just had to talk about Eric July. Just sorry guys, this is only going to take a minute. The reason Eric July calls it collections instead of campaigns is because, when they used to walk around in church with the collection plate for people to put the money in. So he said that's what he's doing. It's his collection. He's doing his collection for his RIPA vision, his RIPA religion, his RIPA tardation, whatever. It's so that they can pay him what he's, bitch better have my money type of thing.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it real.
Yep, Sturgis better have his money. Dave is muted.
Fucking dogs are barking. It's their tithing, Jim.
Yeah, they're tithing,
Yeah, it's their tithing for the house of worship of Eric July.
I had taken him off for a second. Kevin just because I wanted people to see my eyes to know that I am telling you
Here you go.
the real.
We'll flip it up.
But anyway, I wanted to start the day off real quick just to show everybody. I don't know if you noticed, this is my friend Dave here made me this awesome background thumbnail for my show, and I don't have that. I don't have that, but see, if Dan Blackroyd was as good of a producer as he thinks he is, he would already had that scene with our faces put on to the people in the scene from Coming to America. You know, I've seen better thumbnails. Yeah, okay.
Well, everybody's a critic.
Yeah. You know, well, Dave, you've been slacking. Not Dave, Dan, you've been slacking. You know, get cracking on that Coming to America thumbnail with our faces in there with the collection plate scene. That's, you know, that's how you're going to prove that you are the best. The best. Dan Blackroyd is the best producer on the internet.
Kevin,
Dave is
that's a
muted
great
again.
background. That's a great background image because my fucking dogs are talking so much. I don't want to ruin your show.
Ah, you're fine, dude. If your dog started barking, I would just start yelling at him. Shut up, dogs!
I did.
I think the
They
image
heard me.
is perfect for the show. Like red, white, and blue politics, like a radio station. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. But anyway, so there's a lot of stuff going on, and I just thought that we could start off with something real simple, which is this is a story from the Free Press. What average Americans think of the Trump showdown with Zelensky. Written by a Batya Ungar Sargon. Now, I don't know. The name is interesting to me because Sargon, you know, I like Sargon of Akkad.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I like the original Sargon of Akkad, the guy who ran Samaria back. You know, that's who I'm talking about. I know you're talking about that British weirdo.
Well, it's very nice, Jim. Yes, I am talking about the British weirdo. Yes,
Is he British or is he Scottish? Or
he's British.
he is? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Didn't he get like didn't he have to go to court or something in Britain for his show?
No,
Yeah,
maybe he did. I can't imagine. Probably, but I'm a big fan of Dankula. You know, the guy who made his
Oh yeah, the Nazi dog.
the
Yeah.
Nazi dog. You know, yeah,
He's very
his
fun
shows,
to watch anyway.
yeah, he's fun to watch. He's got a bunch. He does these crazy, like it's called like Mad Lads or whatever. These shows talking about people, and I'm fascinated. Whenever those come on, I watch them. I just sit there like, oh yeah, this is great. So this person, I don't know. I think this is a woman actually, Batya, and Ungar Sargon. And do I want to? I mean, I would probably. Anyway, let's not get into early life. Let's just talk about. You know,
I'll do that as a background.
yeah. Well, we'll all probably remember where we were when we watched the video of President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance dressing down Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office on Friday. It's all anyone's talking about. Yet, like so many other big events in recent memory, the episode has polarized viewers. And like so many other events, the media narrative is all but entirely divorced from what the majority of Americans think. To hear the media tell it, President Trump embarrassed himself and the country. Pundits, journalists, columnists, and other foreign policy experts have joined European leaders in castigating Trump like the townsfolk chasing Cersei Lannister down the street, screaming, "Shame! Ding, ding! Shame! Ding, ding! Shame! Ding, ding!" Great scene. Now, the chick in that scene, I don't know if you guys remember, the chick in the scene had an awesome set of mammary glands, let's say. That was not the chick who played Cersei Lannister. Those were like stunt titties.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, those were stunt titties.
No.
But,
Well, good job.
I think maybe I'm wrong. Was that the chick? Hold on. Was the chick? Maybe I'm wrong. Because was that the same chick that was in 300 that played Cersei Lannister? Did she play the wife in 300? It is, isn't it?
I think so. That's a chat question. I've never seen 300, so I don't know.
Because that
Oh, the wife in
the wife at 300. Yeah, is that was that Leonidas' wife, the same girl that played Cersei Lannister? Because if it was, maybe those were not stunt titties. Because the chick at 300 had a nice set of tits. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just was. Maybe I'm completely wrong. God, how did we get down talking about titties? Anyway,
because they're awesome.
There's nothing like
Right.
a great set of New York boobs. Anyway.
Yes, she was the same person. You're
Also,
correct.
maybe they weren't stunt titties then. Or maybe they were stunt titties in both.
Also, early life confirmed on this.
Okay.
Batya Ungar. I mean, it just took me 2 seconds to. Yeah.
But yeah, the elite classes are engaged in a full-scale meltdown, accusing our president, of gaslighting, belittling, humiliating, berating, and bullying a small, defenseless ally. Yeah, I don't see why saying all this bullying shit. Like, what the fuck, bullying? We need to bring back bullying.
Yeah,
we need to bring back bullying in schools. And kids need to get bullied. It needs to happen. Sorry, bullying makes you tough.
I have an unpopular take on that meeting.
Go ahead.
JD Vance needs to shut the fuck up unless he's spoken to in a meeting like that. He was the one that I was most embarrassed by. Because they interviewed him afterwards on Fox News, and he said what I was thinking. He's like, well, yeah, then he didn't say it like this. But he said, I'm talking to the president of the United States here, and then this fucking Ruprecht pops in, and he's like, it's like when I go to my buddy's house and I go, hey, you want to go, want to come over and watch the football game next weekend? And the wife responds, I feel like going, I didn't fucking ask you. So that's the vibe I got.
Yeah, well, and that's understandable, but I think Trump's been trying to let JD do a little more because Trump knows this is his own, this is Trump's last term, so he's got to know if JD can carry the mantle, as they say, of MAGA going forward.
Mm-hmm. I like JD Vance.
So far it seems like he's all right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Marco Rubio looked like he was about to shit an egg roll during that whole meeting. He was like,
but I'll tell you what, he said 2 sentences throughout that entire 40-minute meeting. And do you know why he spoke? Because Trump asked him to. When I'm in a meeting with my boss, who's the senior VP of Ops of the Eastern region, and my client COO, I keep it quiet unless my boss.
Yeah, but didn't Trump
says, hey,
say?
Mike, what do you think about this?
Didn't Trump say something to JD and ask his opinion? I thought he did because I know he asked Marco to say something. Marco said something, and I thought he asked JD to weigh in. And then
no, Trump was ready to move on to the next question, and JD said, "Well, hold on, I want to say something." And that I thought that was.
I'll have to watch it again. Maybe if it happened like that, then maybe he shouldn't have did that because maybe. But it looked kind of like that. Like the thing went on for about 40, 50 minutes, and it was quite a long press conference thing, and it kind of seemed to me like the whole time that Zelensky was kind of like, shrugging his shoulders and being kind of like a.
Oh, he was an asshole too.
Yeah, like asshole the whole time, and
And when they interviewed Rubio later that night on CNN, he's like, "We could have had this deal signed 5 days ago in Ukraine, but he insisted on coming here," which tells me all I need to know, that he just came here to again kind of shake his collections cup in front of the American people. So no, Zelensky, the bad faith actor for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There we go. I said, sorry guys, but as has become the dominant trend over the past decade, ordinary American taxpayers saw things differently. David Burrell of Wick Insights. Oh man, that's almost like something Berwick. Ricky Berwick. Insights polled 1,000 registered voters after showing them an 11-minute video of the conflict between the presidents. Even the way they frame that seems weird. Even though Republicans and Democrats were represented in the poll at the same percentage as in the voting public. Oh, look, we got here.
What up, boys?
What's happening, Cynic?
Chilling.
Yes.
Nice. My computer charger died. I don't know what happened to it.
You're having bad luck this week. Bad internet. Did you leave it by the fucking dryer?
I stuck it in the dryer. It's working now. It's the craziest thing.
Oh, Ruby King Diagnostics here, huh?
So they pulled 1,000 voters and only showed them 10 minutes of the meeting.
Well, it showed him an 11-minute video of the conflict. Even though Republicans and Democrats were represented and polled the same percentages as in the voting public, only 1/3 of those voters strongly disapproved of how Trump behaved. Meanwhile, nearly half felt Trump advanced had a stronger argument. As for Zelensky's comment that really set off Trump, the U.S. would feel it in the future, it failed to ensure security guarantees. Fully 62% of respondents said they found Zelensky's comments offensive. Furthermore, 69% of those polled believe the United States has the most negotiating leverage to end the conflict. Well, I mean, the bottom line with all this...
We have all the fucking leverage, dude.
Well, the bottom line is that if the United States shuts off the tap and stops helping, they're done. They're done. It's over. It's over, Johnny.
I think that's coming. As a matter of fact, I think there's more coming. I think the U.S. is about... NATO's in question now.
Oh, definitely. Like, you know, that's the thing is all these countries saying, you know, we're going to do this, like UK, we're going to put boots on the ground. We're going to do planes.
Oh,
well,
Jesus.
I guess we can't be in NATO anymore because if something happens, we are not getting into a nuclear war with Russia because some guy who fucking arrests people for memes on the internet decides that they're tough in Ukraine now.
I could not agree with you more, Jim. The fucking gall of Europeans talking about defending freedom of speech. Fuck them.
Yeah. They don't know what the concept is anymore, Julio.
Yeah, and what Zelensky did not understand, I think, in this meeting is he had two options. He had take Trump's deal, which is rare earths, American presence that'll deter the Russians, or fuck off. That was his two options, and he thought he was meeting with Biden. And Trump's like, well, that's not happening anymore. So you can fuck off.
Here's another thing that I don't think none of these people, the Europeans, like, why do we have to be at war with Russia? Why does Russia have to be our enemy?
Man, this goes...
The Russians have way more in common with us here in the United States than actually most of the rest of Europe does.
Right, when Trump met with, what's the fucking guy's name from Britain? Sterner or something like that?
Yes,
They were talking about
Sturmgewehr, yeah.
This deep-seated relationship between America and Britain. And I'm like, Britain ain't Britain anymore. And quite frankly, if we don't do something here, America's not going to be America anymore. So this whole European white people alliance shit,
well,
you can throw that out.
This is the thing, like, if anyone who studies like history, let's call it, not herstory, history, would know that
story, yes,
yeah, would know that the Germans had a plan for after World War II was over, you know, if they won. And their plan was basically the EU, an economic union of Europe that Germany would be in charge of and running and control of. And guess what? They got it. That's what they got.
All those resources available to them. Yeah.
And it's odd that the people that the Germans really hated and that they really wanted to go after, get rid of, was the Russians. You know?
It's funny to listen to the Europeans over the last couple of days, France, England, whoever that broad was that was speaking for the... Now all of a sudden everybody's a war hawk now. It's like flip, like Trump took the chess set with the pieces on it and just fucking flipped it over and go, we're starting fresh.
Yeah, I mean, you look at World War I and look at World War II, how they started, how everybody got involved. They're trying to do it again.
Yep.
The same shit. I mean...
Not to interrupt you boys, but I have to comment to Kevin right quick. And just like that, my charger started working. So God does want me on the internet, Kevin. Oh, and the Nazis won in the long run. Agreed.
They did. They did. The Nazis won. I mean, look, you got the guy that runs the WEF, Klaus Schwab. He is totally and completely a Nazi. Hold on, I'll be right back. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, Klaus Schwab is definitely a Nazi. But, I mean, all these things... People don't realize the history that's been laid forth because of the fucking Nazis, man. We would not have 90% of what we have comfort-wise if it wasn't for them. And I think we should all just say thank you.
I agree. Well, I agree with JD Vance. Have you said thank you today, people who aren't European, for this wonderful civilization that our ancestors built that we're happy to share with you, as
I'll be
long
right
as you
back,
don't
boys.
fucking act up.
Yeah, don't
But you're
act like a
acting up.
bitch. Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I said this before on my stream. World War II advanced technology so much, it's not even funny.
yeah, this civilization was built on Greek philosophy, Roman law, and German engineering. That's what we're living in.
And American and Christianity.
Yes, true. Christianity, right.
So
So you're welcome, basically.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We in World War II, Dan, we waited until we were actually attacked. And fun fact, we should have we did see that coming with Japan, and
We knew it was coming. That's why we
we
did
knew
the
it was,
embargo.
we did an embargo on Japan, and basically they had a choice to make whether they could either step down, and stop what they were doing, or they were going to have to go to war with us, because at the time they got like 80 or 90% of their oil from the U.S.
Right.
So, I mean, it was, but anyway, back to what I was saying. World War II, a lot of people go, oh, World War II started when Germany invaded, and a lot of people don't even mention the fact that it was also the Soviet Union invaded Poland. But actually, World War II started when the United Kingdom, Britain, whatever you want to call them, England, and France declared war on Germany for invading Poland. Both of those countries. Neither one of those countries had any capability to actually stop Germany or do anything to Germany.
But they did because they had a treaty with them. So they were with Poland. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I don't think they had a treaty. I think they just said they were gonna. They said, well, if you attack Poland, we're going to declare war. And it's like, that's how World War I started. All these treaties and shit. This one guy goes to war. Next thing you know, everybody's at war. It's kind of going to happen. That's what England is going to drag us into a war. They're going to do something and then get attacked and they go, you have to help us. Article 5 in NATO.
Yeah.
And if you roll it back a little bit, World War II, it's, the people in Western Austria were German.
Mm-hmm.
So Hitler, and this doesn't go into Holocaust and shit. This is Hitler's like, well, they want to be part of Germany. So, and that's sort of similar to what's going on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Russia and Ukraine, isn't it, guys?
Well, that's the thing too. Like a lot of people go, oh, Ukraine. Well, the country of Ukraine that existed after the fall of the Soviet Union, those lines were administratively drawn by Lenin when the Soviet Union was formed. That was not a country of Ukraine. There was the Ukraine, which is the breadbasket, the heartland of. It was always part of the Russian. There was ethnically Ukrainians, but they were always part of the Russian Empire, going back 500 years.
Yeah, the Kievan Rus going.
Yeah, the Kievan Rus. Yeah, Kiev, was the capital of the Russian Empire, the Kievan Rus. But all those people, like east of the, in the Donbass and all that region, Crimea, that was always Russia. That only became Ukraine because when the Soviet Union fell, they did not change the lines of what they considered to be the state of Ukraine in the USSR. Because it was administratively, it didn't matter. It was all the Soviet Union. So they said, okay, you're this Ukrainian, whatever, SSR is this, is this, while it was the Soviet Union, because it was all the Soviet Union, but they just had different states basically controlled by different commissars.
Latvia,
Latvia, all that was controlled by different people. Yeah. But those lines, when the Soviet Union fell, they didn't redraw anything and say, oh, well, this is actually should be part of Russia. They just said this is what was considered the Russia. So that area was never really Ukrainian.
So what do you think, bringing it to modern times, what do you think has got Europe so paranoid about Russia, or Zelensky saying, well, if they take the Donbass over, they're coming for the rest of Europe, which I think is ludicrous.
No, the only reason that Putin, Russia would attack anybody in Europe is if they did something first.
Yeah, he's got everything he needs in Russia. He's got all his resources. He doesn't need a thing from the rest of Europe.
Yeah. He's selling stuff. He's not buying it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, all these countries are still the European Union. All these European countries, Canada, other places are still buying oil and gas from Russia.
Oh yeah, Germany, that's huge. And Trump actually warned them
You're
gonna regret this.
That's why the Ukrainians blew up that Nord Stream pipeline. And if you
To
believe it
get
was the
Germany on their
Ukrainians, and
side.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if you believe it was, if you believe it was the Ukrainians and not the U.S., you're a fucking idiot. Because
The
it
funny
was
thing is,
us.
I read that Putin actually, after Zelensky didn't sign the deal for the rare earths, I think I saw a quote from Putin said, "Well, we'll sell America some rare earths. We got more of them."
Oh yeah, no, he said. He
And
said
I'm like,
that's
I'm
honestly
like,
that's probably been in discussions already behind the scenes. You know, like, hey, come do business here.
I mean,
we would be
okay.
way the Western world, whatever the world in whole, everything would be way better off in the long run if the Russians got along with everybody.
Yeah.
As in everybody, I mean, is the United States. If the United States and Russia could get along, it would bode much better for a problem down the road with this Chinese people that are going to try to fuck around. Because in all reality, the Chinese and the Russians have never been friendly. There's always been static and tension there over Mongolia and that area, Siberia. So
and I
it
think
would
that's
be
part of Trump's strategy is he's like, it's 2025. I got another big enemy to worry about. So how about you faggots pony up some cash and handle your shit so I can.
there was this guy who was basically a fortune teller. You know, he could see the future. He was like the modern day Nostradamus. His name was Tom Clancy, and he wrote this book called The Bear and the Dragon.
To read that.
And I would recommend anyone who really wants to know what's going on in Russia, China, and you know what this is. They should read Negrodamus. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, Negrodamus. But yeah, it's a great book, and basically breaks it all down. You know, Russia has more natural resources in Siberia and in the rest of the country than the rest of the world combined. There's more gold, there's more oil, there's more diamonds, there's more rare earth metals, you know, titanium, fucking zinc,
Rare earths,
tungsten.
oil, yeah.
Yeah, they got it, you know. And so
I think the other thing Zelensky said that may have been fucked up because he's not an English first speaker, so I think he didn't understand some things that Trump said. But when he said, "Well, yeah, you have a big ocean,"
I'm not playing cards.
right? But when he said you have a nice ocean and nice beaches, Trump took that. I guarantee you, as a New York businessman, Trump's dealt with some fucking mobsters at some point, and that was like a mob, like it's nice house.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. Nice house you have here. Be ashamed if something happened to it. Yeah,
Right.
you're gonna feel it. You got an ocean, but it's not gonna protect you. You're gonna feel it. It's like, no, we're not. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, okay. The Soviet Union or Russia has enough nuclear weapons to destroy every place on the earth 3 times over. Everything. We have enough in the U.S. to destroy it twice over. China has enough to make us have a bad day. They got a couple hundred. I think France has 40 or 50 nukes. I think England has maybe 80, 70, 80, but they're not all deployed. You know, they're real weird. But if there was an exchange between Russia and Europe, let's say, between, you know, without us out of it, Russia would fuck them up. And even if they were able to let loose everything they had, Russia would still be about 75% intact.
Okay, so I'll play devil's advocate. Why are they still fighting in Ukraine after 3 years? And they've only
They didn't. That's the thing. Russia could have wiped Ukraine off the fucking map. They didn't want to just kill everybody. They just wanted the land. They were trying to prove a point. They thought they could go in real quick. They tried to go in real quick and decapitate, come down into Kiev and grab the capital and be like, fuck you. It didn't work out, but they wanted the area that they've got, and they've kind of stabilized. They want up to the Dnieper River, I think it's called, the Dnieper. It's a natural barrier if they can get to the Dnieper. And I think they also want Odessa.
They definitely want Odessa.
You know, because Odessa is also, it was always part of Russia.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. It sounds like a very German 1930s statement, though.
Yeah.
But it's not wrong. It's just reminiscent. That's all I'm saying.
I hope we give them Odessa, Realzik. Personally, I hope we go and say, you know what? Here you go, guys. Here you go, boys.
I hope we just disengage from all these fucking fools. And
No, but I mean, like Russia could, if Russia wanted to, they could kill every person in Ukraine, and without nuclear weapons,
They
or
want
you know,
their-
they don't
they
want
want
it.
their
They don't want to kill them
Russian-speaking
all. They
people
just
back.
want the Russian-speaking people to be saved. They want it.
Yeah.
They want their land bridge to Crimea. They're not giving back Crimea. There has been a naval base in Sevastopol since the 1800s. It ain't going anywhere.
that's where they have a lot of the Black Sea Fleet, right?
That's
I mean,
their
the
entire Black Sea Fleet.
Yeah.
It ain't going nowhere. That was some fucking idiot in Obama administration thought like, oh, we're going to do this coup. Then you're going to kick Russia out. Tell them they got to get out. What? Oh, yeah, because they're not going to be a world power. We're going to make them a regional power because they won't be able to Black Sea, so they won't be able to get into the Med and to the. What?
The
You think they're just going to take it?
The American-backed Orange Revolution was very similar to Hillary's Arab Spring, where they thought
Right.
they were just going to fix everything, which is a very female way to think. That's not how the world works. It don't work like that.
We'll see. You know, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, like they could basically they have they're fighting with like a quarter, like not even like a tenth of their army is what they're fighting with. It's not. If they decided to go and they wanted to go all out, Ukraine would fold up.
Yeah.
But they don't want to antagonize Poland. They don't want to antagonize, Germany or us or anyone to the point where we do something and make it look like they're rolling all the way across.
It's ironic that the left is so against Trump when Trump, and I agree with him on this, and I want people to stop dying. And that's what
Yeah.
Trump said. Like, I'm tired of young men shooting other young men they don't know on behalf of old men who know each other. It's just not right.
Yeah,
That's
it's not.
and I agree with that. It's whatever we need to do to stop mothers from losing sons, sisters from losing brothers, that's what we need to figure out. But apparently, all the left-wing people are now fucking Douglas MacArthur all of a sudden, which is odd.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was another thing. Like, these same people who are saying how, Trump is wrong and Zelensky's this. Zelensky's not a fucking a saint. He's not a hero. He's not some fucking the person she lying. Like, why are you lionizing this guy? What the fuck did he ever do? He played a piano with his dick.
He's probably related to the woman who wrote this article, to be honest.
Probably, but
some way.
some way. But this is crazy. It's like the same thing that they did with Fauci. They pick somebody that they're going to make their saint, and it's like you're picking the wrong people, man.
Yeah.
You have to look at what's going on. You have to look at things with clear eyes and say, this is what's happening. This is the best way to solve it. The best way to solve it is for people to stop dying. Over what? Because somebody got a hair up their ass and thought they were going to kick Russia out of Crimea. That's what started all this.
Yeah.
That's it. And it was the U.S. People in the U.S. State Department, USID, who decided like, oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna prove that Russia's just this, that. And then when it failed, then they went and it just snowballed with the Trump, this whole thing. Well, let's just say Trump's in collusion with Russia because Russia's bad. And it's it's never stopped.
We paid to help overturn an election in 2000.
And they're still doing it too. The U.S. government the U.S. government was responsible through USAID on all this other shit because they didn't like Bolsonaro. That guy Lula was in jail and wasn't ever supposed to. They know he was a crooked communist and was never Marxist and all this other shit. They had locked him up, and it was the U.S. government's USAID bullshit that got him out, let him able to run again, and then basically this whole exactly what they're doing to Bolsonaro, trying to charge him with trying to coup. It's what they tried to do to Trump.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
Yep.
And then they're doing it now in Romania because they didn't like the guy that was winning the election in Romania because he actually was like, no, I don't want to deal with this shit. We're not doing this globalist bullshit. It's our money causing all this shit. It's our money coming back, fucking us here with these, stuffing ballot boxes and all the other shit that they're doing.
Now, do you all think we have any responsibility based on that, though, in 2025 to go in there and?
We have responsibility to try to get to kill more people or to make it stop.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying, since we were a big part of the catalyst of all this.
When we can recognize it was a problem and say we want to fix the problem.
Okay.
And by fixing the problem doesn't mean like we're going to sit here and we're going to keep giving you more weapons to fight what? Yeah, we played you in 2014 Ukraine and made you our bitch, and you overthrew your government, did all this stuff. So we're just going to keep making you our bitch until your last man dies on the battlefield with Russia.
Yeah, it's going to turn into an Afghanistan situation that's just never-ending money pit that nothing ever comes out of it anyway, right?
Yeah, that's also
Russia
true.
and fucking USA both found out about that shit. And I mean, we're paying for Zelensky to have an Afghan war against Russia. Why would we pay for that when we get nothing out of Ukraine being saved?
I mean, you think it's a coincidence that within a month,
right, Jim? We get testing labs for mutated viruses.
Yeah, but that's the when did all those labs open up in Ukraine? In 2014. Why does all Biden's pardons go back to 2014? All this shit is interconnected, man. It's all interconnected.
So it's all a big scam, man.
It is, man. They got all these lines, man. They're doing it, and then you got to think too that they pulled out of Afghanistan, left all that shit in Afghanistan that are going to end up, someone else is going to end up with all that weaponry, over $60 billion in weapons that's going to end up fighting us.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately pivoted to pumping weapons into Ukraine.
Zelensky will turn around and sell that shit to Afghanistan, dude.
Well, they're going to turn around and sell it to the cartels. They've already found Javelin missiles and other shit in Mexico that went to Ukraine. So how did they get to Mexico?
Yeah.
Were they allocated for Ukraine and then we shipped them to Mexico ourselves and we do a fucking Obama thing?
I hope not. That would be fucked.
Yeah, who knows, man?
I wouldn't put it past us.
Neither would I.
But these same people that are telling us that we should do all this stuff in Ukraine, we have to do this fight to the death, that Putin and our people got to go die, are saying that the U.S. government better watch out with these cartels because these cartels are going to get you. They're going to get you.
Yeah, we're scared of the cartel standing army in America. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to do this. They're, well, okay. The last time lawless group of criminals in Mexico started attacking U.S. citizens across the border, this guy by the name of Patton and Pershing, another guy named Pershing, decided to jump on the back of Jeeps with 50 cals on them and drive all the way to Mexico City. And
is that
they
right?
had to get, yeah.
Holy shit. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, let's all Pancho Villa. They chased Pancho Villa all the way to Mexico City, and it was basically had to be recalled by the when Congress found out where they were.
When are they going to release the JFK files, dude?
I don't think the JFK files really make that much of a difference. I'm more worried about the this other shit going on with the Epstein files that needs to come out. And
is Diddy going to make it in jail, or are they going to kill him too before he goes to court?
I don't know. I think part of the problem is the same. It's the same people involved in both.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It was probably this. Epstein was probably working for multiple governments. Probably the Israeli government, probably Mossad, probably the CIA, who knows, maybe even the, Russians or the Brits or MI6. He might have been working for a bunch of different, all Five Eyes, who knows?
And Diddy is just working for perverts.
I think Diddy was working probably directly with the Obama administration's people.
Ooh.
You think he's gonna make it to court, or is he gonna find a noose?
I don't know.
Because I heard the lawyer that quit his case is a guy that fucking represented Osama bin Laden.
Yeah,
I'll be
well,
right back, boys.
I mean, Obama's probably got some things to be worried about. You know, I mean, I would like to see Kash Patel open an investigation into the death of Obama's chef. That seems like that should have been investigated a little bit more. How a guy who was an Olympic swimmer drowned in 3 feet of water, naked, you know,
See,
at Obama's house.
I think Trump's cabinet has bigger fish to like. If they release the JFK files, I think everybody's already figured out in their head what happened with the JFK situation, whether it be CIA or people that think it was just a guy that shot him and there was no conspiracy. No matter what comes out in these papers, I don't think anybody will change their mind.
Well, the only way anybody like does somebody have Hoover's files? Because Hoover's files are what has been missing since Hoover died. Nobody knows where they went.
They're probably in the closet with his dresses.
They're somewhere. Somebody's got them. So who has them is the question, because whoever has those files has the actual answers to who killed JFK, has the answers to, you know, who did basically everything, you know, what's in Area 51, who's buried in Grant's tomb, you know, what happens when you make a left at Albuquerque. It's all in there.
Where's G. Gordon Liddy when you need him? Somebody needs to get to the.
Where's Hoffa buried? Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Giant Stadium, Dave. Isn't that?
well, that's what they say, you know, yeah, you know, that's what they think. Anyway, so yeah, it also says the poll joins others that suggested cratering support among American people for the war in Ukraine and for its president. As CNN found recently in February 2022, 72% said they had confidence that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Now, in February 2025, that number has plummeted to 48%. Meanwhile, 78% of Americans want a Russian-Ukraine negotiated peace deal, with just 16% opposing it. So, yeah, I mean, the thing about you don't make peace with your friends, you make peace with your enemies.
Right.
You know, and you
Right.
don't make a deal. You don't get everything you want in a deal. That's not how a deal works.
Plus,
You
when
know.
Zelensky's like, well, we can't deal with them because we don't trust them. I'm like, well, who are you going to deal with? I mean, that's the other side. You can't.
Well, and you know what? They weren't too trustworthy themselves. They were the ones shelling fucking Donbass for 4 fucking years.
I don't know why Zelensky thinks he has any fucking political power in this situation. If
I
we
don't think-
abandon him completely, it's not Ukraine tomorrow.
But he clearly does have a lot of political power because he's had his balls licked by America for so long. And look at what Europe did in the past 2 days. France said they're going to have a nuclear shield over Ukraine. Somebody threw out the idea that maybe we should give Ukraine nuclear. These Europeans, they're out of their mind.
Yeah, and that whole thing about, oh, well, Ukraine gave up their nuclear weapons. Ukraine never had any nuclear weapons. Those nuclear weapons were not Ukraine's nuclear weapons.
Right?
They were Soviet nuclear weapons, which means they were Russian nuclear weapons.
Yeah, it was basically, well, okay, you guys can be a free country now. You won't be part of the Soviet Republic, but we'd like to get our shit back before.
I mean,
we
that's like
we move
Turkey
in.
saying, that's like Turkey saying, hey, we want our nuclear weapons back because the U.S. had missiles here in the 60s.
Right. Yeah. In the
You know.
60s, right?
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yeah, they're all gone.
Fucking. I think when push comes to shove, Julio, Europe will fucking drop Zelensky like a hot rock. Like,
I think here's the thing, Dave. I think what happened was all this shit went crazy and all these people started talking all this shit when Elon Musk said they were going to audit where the money went in Ukraine.
uh-huh.
That's when everyone got apeshit because there's a lot of people who got a lot of that money. And a lot of those people are actually
In power.
these European politicians
But
who
you think they're
siphoned
willing
off
to,
money.
you think they're
Oh
willing to
yeah,
go to war
they're
with
worried.
Russia
They're
over
worried.
it?
You know, they're worried. You know, do you remember that whole Panama Papers thing where there was all this money, you know, and these people had all this money in Panama?
Mm-hmm.
How did Zelensky end up with $100 million
Yeah.
in Panama?
Why does he have a bank account in Panama?
Yeah. How did that work?
Why are
How
the Chinese
did
running
this
the
guy?
lot?
But I mean, how did this guy, who's just this comedian guy who somehow became president of Ukraine, how the fuck did he get $100 million in a Panamanian bank? Anyone? I mean, can anyone explain this to me?
It's Occam's razor. I mean,
Oh, yeah, it's
you know?
stolen money.
he skimmed it like the mob.
Yeah.
And for Europe's not, I think some of the people who are in charge of Europe at the moment are the same people that are kind of in charge of Zelensky. I think it's no surprise to me that they're all getting along swimmingly at this point.
Well, they can all
And
fucking
Trump
they can all
fucked up
fry
their
in the
grip.
same. They can all fry in the same skillet as far as I give a fuck. And the more Trump disassociates himself with those lunatics, the better for all of us. We'll even protect Australia, Dan Blackroyd, even though it's fake.
Yeah, you know, many Americans saw the Oval Office was not an American president bullying a weak ally, but rather an American president, the first in my lifetime, defending the abused American taxpayer from an ongoing international fleecing, not just
Thank
the past
you.
3 years, but for the entire post-war order. Yeah, this too is how Secretary of State Marco Rubio, no squish when it comes to Russia, saw the kerfuffle as an historic willingness of an American president to put the people of this country first. Thank you, POTUS, for standing up for America in a way that no president has ever had the balls to do before. He said on Friday, just minutes after Zelensky was asked to leave the White House. Thank you for putting America first. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
This is a favorable article.
it is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's only the only
right back.
people the only people that are like not on Trump's side in this are Democrats and Republicans, rhinos that are basically Democrats. You know, like you got like Chris Christie and fucking Kasich.
Oh, that guy.
Remember when that fucking clown from Ohio
Eating spaghetti in the diner.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
eating pizza
Yeah,
with a fork?
Even fucking Lindsey Graham did a 180.
Oh, Lindsey Graham
I
almost was
shocked.
crying. Well, because Lindsey Graham knows, you know. But yeah, I think the only so far the only sitting member of the Senate that I've heard make any like squeaks about it is Murkowski saying like, "Oh, this isn't," you know. But she's done for anyway. 'Cause she's already going to be walking the plank. You know,
Where's she out of? Is she
Alaska?
Maryland?
Alaska.
Oh, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, but it should be Trump won Alaska by 30 points. And how the fuck do we have a squish rhino in there as a senator?
She probably just watched Red Dawn last week, and now she's all paranoid. That
No, she's always been a fucking. She was given the seat. She was given the seat by her daddy when her daddy was governor, back before Palin was governor, and she's been voted out twice in primaries, and then got back in by some kind of real shady write-in candidacy or anyway, this shit. But yeah, so basically, this is a good article. It's talking, saying how the American people have Trump's back, and Zelensky's a piece of shit, and yeah. Well, we'll show you this, and we have this BRICS news. Just in, President Trump slams Europe in a new statement. We should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about migrant grape gangs, drug lords, murderers, and people from mental institutions entering our country so that we don't end up like Europe.
we should invoke Article 5 of NATO and have the Europeans come over and help us secure the border.
No, we should just get out of NATO. We don't
No, I
need
agree.
them.
I agree.
We don't. They've done.
We have enough long range warfare stuff. We don't need to be in those countries to stop wars. Getting dark.
I mean, we would be. This country would be so much better if we pulled all our troops out of Europe. Get everyone out of Germany, everyone out of Italy, everyone out of the UK.
Move
bring our
all
troops
the
out of-
soldiers into the
bring them all
fucking border
back,
patrol.
you know? Yeah, move
and
them all out of Poland. I mean,
goddamn.
we've got troops in Poland, we've got troops in Estonia, we've got troops in Latvia, we've got troops in
Germany.
fucking Germany, we've got troops in France, we've got troops in Italy, we've got troops in
Japan.
Turkey, we've got troops.
Middle East.
Well, we want to stay in the Pacific. Let's deal with Europe right now. Pacific, we're okay out there. Pacific,
Britain, we got troops in Britain, right?
Britain, yeah, all over, anywhere in Europe, get them all out. Send them west.
Go west,
No.
boys.
Go
Send them
west.
to the border
man.
patrol.
Border patrol. Send them south. You know.
Can you be a political isolationist in an age where the economy is clearly global? Can you do that? Like separate?
Sure, why not? That's nothing. We'll trade with anybody. That's like Putin wants to trade with us, so we'll trade with them.
Yeah. They all want our fucking money.
I mean, really, the only country we should really be protecting is Taiwan. Because if
Oh.
Taiwan gets taken, we're fucked. Say goodbye to your cell phones, computers. You get all our shit.
It would take,
Yeah, but
you know what? Here's the thing.
CHIPS
Wouldn't be the
Act,
end of the
right?
world.
Didn't
Wouldn't be the end of the world.
Biden do the
I don't think
CHIPS
so.
Act?
No, it would force. We could make all that shit here in the United States. It's just a matter of the
Like we did
EPA
before
and different
World War
rules.
II.
We used, all the stuff was made here all the way up until into the late '80s, and it was the EPA that started causing problems, and that's why it started getting moved. I mean, Texas Instruments, Texas Instruments was huge in the semiconductor business. Huge. You know, AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, was all California and Texas. Then it started moving other places. They've got, but they've got fab facilities in the Philippines. They got fab facilities in Korea, India. It all depends,
All right, so here's a hypothetical. Let's say China wakes up tomorrow and says, fuck it. Taiwan's part of us, which is what they say anyway.
Mhm.
We're just going to go take it. Like, what do you feel our response?
Well, I mean, what our response should be
Per our treaty.
we technically have a defense treaty with them. We should defend them. Now, how much of a defense? I don't know what in all here, and this is going to piss people off. I don't know what we could actually do with the shape of our military the way it is. We don't have by the time we were able to break through we don't have enough ships and anti-missile technology to get past the picket of missiles that China could send at us. You know what I mean? Like, to get close enough. Like, our whole thing would have to be complete, like, basically like the way the Germans treated shipping and stuff with the U-boats. We would have to go submarine warfare. Yeah, it would be our submarines would be in there just taking out ships would have to be what would have to happen. We wouldn't, until...
If China knows we can't stop them, then what's
we could technically stop them, but the problem would be that us stopping them would be World War III, and
It'd be catastrophic. Yeah.
Because I mean, we could take out all their nuclear weapons in a first strike,
but also
and decapitate them.
If they take Thailand, there will be no more Chinese-owned property.
Well, if they take Thailand, forget about all the ladyboys.
Right.
Forget about all the land the Chinese own in America. It will all be taken back. All the Chinese citizens will be shipped right the fuck back to China. They'll pay that price. And they want our fucking land, Julio.
Yeah, if they take Thailand, who's uncivil law? Is that the guy?
Here's the thing: is that that's a legal mindset. But all the money that China that's another reason why this whole thing with BRICS and stuff that they're doing is scary, because before if they were still on the SWIFT system and all the payment system, the federal banks and the world, all these international bank settlements and stuff for all these huge transactions, there would be a ton of money tied up that you'd be like, well, you're basically like what they did to Russia, which they have all this money. And like, that's why I don't understand why Russia is still selling people oil when they're holding all the money.
Well, that's what Zelensky said to one of the EU people in the last.
Yeah, give us the money.
Give it to us.
Give it to us. It's like, wait, then Russia just shuts off the oil, and I mean, it'd be okay during the summertime, but you get wintertime in Germany and these other countries with no oil, you're fucked. I mean, that's why. I mean, basically, like, no one wants to. There was huge pipelines pumping natural gas. That's where it was heating and all, and running their plants and stuff. Well, now we're liquefying that gas and shipping it over there from the U.S. to stem the tide. But that's why our prices went through the roof, because all the shit that we were normally buying here, they're now selling at a higher value. Yeah. So it's called, it's supply and demand. We can get more money for it over there. So if you want it here, you got to pay us.
Yeah, our own oil, our own gas in our country, they're fucking treating it like it's a foreign commodity.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of oil, didn't the Norwegians refuse to refuel one of our?
I saw that they're saying it was a company that did it. The defense minister for Norway has come out and said that it's not true. If it was true, that the company would face, military sanctions from their own government, because they're not allowed to do that. So who knows?
It sounds like it was some asshole that just decided to be a dick.
Why? I'm still confused as to why a nuclear submarine would need diesel.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
What?
don't make sense.
it don't make no sense.
It was the Delaware, right? USS Delaware.
They said it was a Virginia class submarine. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they have maybe they have an emergency generator, but why would they need fuel for an emergency generator? Were they using the emergency generator that they used the fuel? I mean, something doesn't make sense about the story.
All right, could be
Yeah,
fake news.
They
I
say
just-
they have a backup emergency diesel generator, but
Why would they
That-
need it?
why? Yeah, why? What are you saying? They were using the diesel generator on the nuclear submarine, so they ran out of fuel? I mean, if that's the case, there's bigger problems than they couldn't get fuel.
That nuclear sub needs to get back to port really quick.
Well, it's a long way from home if it's over there in Norway, running out of generator fuel.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
that
yeah.
captain's looking for a new job today.
So yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff here. You know, here is let's see, this is Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announces that the Treasury Department is going to appoint an affordability czar who will work on lowering prices after Biden's mess the past 4 years.
Wait, how does the government lower prices, Jim? I still can't figure that out.
I don't know how the government could do it either.
That's
Yeah.
all bullshit. I don't want to hear this shit from anybody about lowering prices. That's
Well, you
what
can-
the
you
economy
can-
does.
You can get rid of regulations, which ties up companies and makes them pay more than they need to pay to run their business, and that would supposedly trickle
Well,
down.
the easiest way to lower prices is to get rid of regulations.
You're right.
I
Like
mean,
he did the first
that's-
term when he did
yeah,
that.
that's-
I was paying
that's
$1.30
the
for
biggest-
gas, and
biggest driver in the cost of is because the cost of doing business. And I mean, it's regulations.
regulations,
It's
unions,
regulations.
HR departments, lawyers. Yeah,
It's
regulations.
Permits,
right.
yeah.
Dave. That's why people outsource shit to India. There's none of that shit.
I mean, the American people have had it. The American people have had it. What
Even
happened
the
in Maui with
Democrats
these
are
fires?
finally
The
going
Democrats.
at it.
You got the fire in Maui, the fires in LA and Pacific Palisades, the fucking hurricanes, the damage in North Carolina and Tennessee, the highway that shut down, the fucking train derailment in fucking Ohio, East
Yeah.
Palestine, Ohio.
South Carolina today is on fire.
There's,
How about all the meat plants that have burned down over the
all
past
the meat
5
plants,
years?
Yeah.
and there's no money to fix that stuff. But there's money for fucking, California wants 10 more billion for their train to nowhere.
But these factories, these meat plants burned down, and your bacon goes from $2.99 a pound to fucking $7.99 a pound, and you're supposed to just be happy.
Chicago
off.
Chicago just borrowed
Right.
almost $1 trillion at a crazy interest rate because they're junk status at Chicago, and they're just going to pay interest only for 20 years. All right, on the money, and the whole purpose of the money is to pay off the teachers' unions.
$1 trillion?
Almost $1 trillion, yeah, to cover the overages for teachers' pensions and stuff, and expand. It's nuts. And who's going to pay it? How, it's insane. Because and people don't like. Elon Musk kind of broke it down a little bit. He was on Rogan and he said how, they say our debt's 36 trillion, but really our debt is way higher because they're not taking into account all the liabilities for like Social Security and the promise to pay all the stuff, like the money, the debt's
Retirement checks to all their veterans.
retirement checks, like all the stuff that's got to be paid. The unfunded liabilities are over $100 trillion. We have the tax revenue is never going to be high enough to pay this stuff.
And our population's getting less and less because we're not reproducing. So there's not going to be enough people working to pay into the next generation. It ain't getting better.
Oh, there's
I
people
know.
reproducing. It just ain't us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No. We looked it up today,
Yeah.
dude. America's
No, it's not. It's
reproducing.
Yeah, but it's bad everywhere too. Like, well, here, like,
Around the
well,
world,
it's-
yeah.
Japan-
Birth rates across the world are dropping. We looked at it today.
Yeah, it's
But there's
everywhere.
still
But I mean, like, there's some countries where it's like India's still pumping them out, but who knows how much longer that's going to last. China's having a problem, actually, believe it or not.
They're the worst.
Africa's still pumping them out.
China's the worst in the world as
Yeah,
far
but
as birth
Here's the
rates.
thing, like Korea and Japan, if something doesn't happen in those Korea and Japan within 70
20
years.
20.
Well, no,
they say.
well,
We read the
it's going to
article
be bad,
today.
but yeah, they're going to be like a third of their population. Like 1/3 of what they have now is what's going to be left.
Japan's
Like they said,
importing
but they don't-
Nigerians to supplement their workforce, I read.
Well,
And I'm
Japan's
like-
actually opening or loosening up their immigration status and inviting many, many foreign countries to come there and work and hopefully hook up with their women. They're that fucking hardcore to get people in that country and have
A
babies.
rabbit hole to go down, but yeah.
Africa's got the top 5 reproducing countries on the planet, and the number 1 was what, Cynic? What was it, number 1?
Chad. Fucking
Nice.
Chad.
Chad, Africa.
Chad is the biggest Chad in the fucking world. Right?
And the top 5 worst reproductive states in the United States are all blue states.
I have an Elon Musk rant in the holster I'll save for later, but I will say, based on this conversation, Elon Musk is doing his bit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
fucking
But I mean, the problem is though he's reproducing with a lot of crazy bitches.
Well, I mean,
the
I like-
Jewish women.
Amber Heard, fucking this Smashly St. Clair, fucking come on, man.
well,
Grimes, dude, he should be like finding like I don't know. I don't know. He can do whatever he wants, dude. He could.
You can afford it.
I hear you that sometimes the data lags reality, but when we are talking about people's perceptions of the economy, it's just how they're feeling right now. We see in our polling, 52% of Americans say Trump's policies are making grocery prices go up. They explicitly said that on this bar chart you see there. So it's an experience and a perception issue.
So this is a YouGov poll, which means it's an online poll that they send, and basically it's a pump poll where they share it with like-minded people.
Yeah,
So
the
it's-
Democrats. Yeah.
Democrats. It's got a margin of error of 2.5%. So the 52 is actually probably under 50%.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in office for 5 weeks. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
half these people don't even fucking use cash to pay for their credit card or their groceries. They're on some kind of benefits.
That's why they're sitting at home at 2:00 in the afternoon answering YouGov polls.
Right.
No, because the Democrats are the ones telling these people that it's Trump's fault. Like, oh my God, egg prices are going up. It's like, well, yeah, you guys killed 120 million fucking chickens. What did you think was going to happen?
On demand by the government.
Yeah.
When does that shift? When do we see the benefits of the planning you say is underway?
Look, I think President Trump said that he'll own the economy in 6 or 12 months, but I can tell you that we are working to get these prices down every day, but it took 4 years to get us here, and we've had 5 weeks. So interest rates are down. That's a very good start toward housing affordability, toward auto affordability, and we are tackling this. At Treasury, we are going to appoint an affordability czar. We are going to have an affordability
Is that better,
council.
Dan
We are
Blackroyd?
focused on this.
What does that mean? What's an affordability czar?
Someone
Question.
who picks the 5 or 8 areas where this administration can make a big difference for working class Americans.
You need a fucking czar to tell you that?
I think they're
Yes.
just.
I mean, come on.
Ugh.
I think they're just trying to.
I hear you that sometimes the data
no,
lags reality, but
Stop.
That's
Okay.
hibbity jibbity.
That's the pivoty too.
I hate that
But yeah,
shit,
check it out.
dude.
Look at this is Reddit says they got this Reddit taken the last few days. New World War III map. Oh wait, hold on. New World War III map, and this idiot goes, "Who would win this war?" Are you retarded? Like
What? Really?
the
They
United
asked that
States?
question?
Yeah, United States, Russia, China, Iran, and Afghanistan, maybe. I don't know, but I mean, I hate to break it to you guys, but India and Pakistan would be in here too, if
Oh, yeah.
along with some other stuff. And they're basically saying like Mexico and Canada and Greenland. Greenland. Oh, they got Greenland in there. Holy fuck, man.
I like that they didn't even bother to color in South America and Africa. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Who cares?
Or Australia.
Yeah. Or yeah, because
India and
They're
Pakistan,
neutral.
they're nuclear countries, right? They have nukes, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, basically, I don't know. The United States and Russia, or the United States and China, could take out the whole rest of the world without any issue whatsoever. I mean,
Europe ain't got nothing on China, Russia, America, Russia, China, or China, US. They can't handle that.
I mean, in all honesty, if Russia
they got
and
fucking,
China,
they got Mexico in blue. We're scared of the fucking Mexicans and the Canadians. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
yeah,
Who made
No.
this stupid map?
I don't know, some
Ne-
idiots, but
Mexico's executed the most successful invasion of the United States in history. So I don't know. I wouldn't rag on them.
but I like it says bad guys in red, and then in blue it says bad guys but blue.
Hot
Well,
take.
So Greenland's a bad guy? What the fuck
Yeah.
is Greenland?
Well, no,
ever
it's
done
just someone being, but here's, you guys see the representation rules for the Oscars. Like basically you have to include, like, you can't win unless you're have an African American, black, basically a white person can't win. It's the rules.
That's tonight, right? Wasn't that tonight?
Yeah, the Oscars, and all the black people won. Yeah.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. Well, you could be white if you're gay, though. Maybe a white man could win if it was a white trans man.
Or woman.
Yeah.
To assume gender.
Right.
They were on YouTube too. That's where they played them. They played them on YouTube, the Oscars.
I used
how
to
much-
enjoy watching the Oscars with Joan Rivers just fucking roasting everybody on the red carpet. I thought it was fun. Now I have no idea.
And then we have at least one voice of reason from European. He was arrested, and he's in
And
the
put in
Tower
jail.
of London
Yes.
now for
The rest of his life. His children will never see him again.
for wrong think. But here it also says that we've got important problems here in the U.S. too. We've got this. There was this huge protest for Ukraine in Times Square.
أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله
By the Muslims?
وملائكته
No, they just decided to take over Times Square and pray and stop everybody.
This looked like the Costco today, to be honest with you. I'm not even playing. I'm serious.
I'm sorry.
That's why you order online.
They could be.
Really on your pickup.
I'm not anti-Islam. Salami and bacon. Aloha Snack Bar, all that good business. But I see flags here that aren't American flags.
I don't see an American flag.
Yeah,
Is that a French flag up there?
it is. I see people in dresses praying and stopping traffic and all this stuff in a public place. We wouldn't allow this in a public place. That this is paid for by the taxpayers of New York City, by the way. So they wouldn't allow Christians to do this, or Catholics, or Jews, but they're allowing Muslims to do it. I have a problem with that.
On a Sunday too, in Times Square, where there's a lot of fucking tourism that's being missed out on.
What do you mean YouTube blocked the chat? What are you talking about?
Oh, is that right, Chris?
That's weird.
I
The
don't.
person I feel the worst for in this whole thing is that guy in the Jets jacket. Poor guy. It's fucking terrible.
I mean, all these people are in New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
feel
saying.
I feel equally terrible for all of them. Ugh, imagine.
I do see a POWMIA flag hanging up there, Jim.
Yeah, I know, but this flag and this, I don't like. I don't get it. Yes,
Well, that
tunnels.
flag-
Festival.
Yeah.
Who's paying for these protests?
Well, they have to get a permit.
Well, I don't know if that's
I
a
don't care.
protest or if that's a.
You still got to get a.
Well, they probably had to get a permit, but I mean, this is like to close down Times Square like this. This all has to be paid for by the, they have to have security, taxpayers. I don't think that it should be allowed.
How about all these
No, I
stores
mean-
losing business because people can't go to their fucking stores in Times Square?
You know, and not just I'm saying it shouldn't be allowed
mean-
by any religion to just decide they want to,
Okay.
you know, like start praying in the middle of a street.
But did they just show up and do it? Or
I
was
don't
it-
know. It's just saying that it was
Because I doubt they would give you a permit to shut down Times Square for a prayer.
that's what I'm saying. It's
These-
just like this is
These people
this
all
is-
just showed up and
you know,
done like a flash
Your
mob
An-
thing.
that guy Andy No says a large group of Muslims shut down
Hey.
Times Square for a public mass prayer event
Watch
for
this, Julio.
Ramadan.
Hey, Andrew, NGOs are all funding these protests, and guess where about 90% of them are from? You want to pick a country?
From my brain to your mouth. Exactly what I was going for.
You want to know who's also moving all these migrants into Europe? You want to know who's waiting on the shores to put them into hotels and help them get their citizenship?
It's the same people who I think removed a lot of people from another continent in the 1600s and moved them to other countries, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're
Pretty
pretty
sure.
good at it. The same continent too. They're trying to move
Persuade?
people from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, so there's this guy too, this clown.
Motherfucker,
You know, his name is Sturmgewehr. He's got a nice German name. It's odd how these Germans are in control of everything.
I'll go smoke a cigarette. I'll be back.
First, we will keep the military aid flowing and keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia to strengthen Ukraine now. Second, we agreed that any lasting peace must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security, and Ukraine must be at the table. Third,
About that.
in the event of a peace deal, we will keep boosting Ukraine's own defensive capabilities to deter any future invasion. Fourth, we will go further to develop a coalition of the willing to defend a deal in Ukraine and to guarantee the peace. Not every nation will feel able to contribute, but that can't mean that we sit back. Instead, those willing will intensify planning now with real urgency. The UK is prepared to back this with boots on the ground and planes in the air, together with others. Europe must
Well,
do the heavy
Britain's going to put boots on the ground in Ukraine. Is that what he just fucking said?
That's what he said. Yeah.
You're going to send fucking troops to Ukraine to fight Russians?
Mhm.
Oh, this guy's
Sure.
a fucking ass clown.
Yeah.
There are
500 million
two-
Europeans are asking 300 million Americans to defend them against 140 million Russians.
There are two adults in this whole scenario, Putin and Trump.
Yeah.
Everybody else should go back to the kiddie table and shut the fuck up and eat their jello.
This
This guy's like
fucking-
he's play acting as a leader. Is
He's
he out of his mind?
Where the fuck is
I mean-
Winston Churchill when you need him, dude? Margaret Thatcher wouldn't do this shit either. Are you
Well-
fucking crazy?
Well, Winston Churchill kind of was the reason World War II spiraled out of control into the way it was because he refused to talk. You know, basically, he did the same thing they're doing now. Like, oh, Germany, you want to deal? You want to, you know, Germany was sued for peace multiple times prior
Well, they
to.
never-
Yeah, but
Never-
he knew that peace wasn't real, Jim.
No, it
Hitler
was.
never.
No, it was. It would have been real. But
No.
Hitler had no intention. Hitler thought of the
Yeah, Hitler also wasn't going to invade this country. He only wanted these lands. That's what he told everybody. And he started invading everybody.
No, he always wanted fucking. He wanted to secure Europe. Honestly, I would love to be able to, you know, see what would have happened if England and France didn't declare war on Germany after they went into Poland. I have a feeling that Germany would have kept going east.
Well, didn't Chamberlain was the appeasement guy, and he's like, all right, well, they took Western Austria, whatever, we'll let it go. And then I think
It was Czechoslovakia or
next,
something
and
like
they're
that.
okay,
Yeah, okay.
fine, but
Czechoslovakia
it's gotta
is the one
stop
that
there.
Hitler
But see,
called
the
him a
bladder-
fucking. Hitler called him basically a faggot
Yeah.
when he
But
walked out of the
Czechoslo-
meeting. He goes, "That guy's a pussy." I
But see,
went.
Czechoslovakia was the Czech government or the Czechoslovakian government or whoever that said, "Oh, come in and do this." And so then once they were there and they gave him this, it was a clusterfuck, you know.
Yeah,
but-
Hitler was still fucking. He was
But
not.
Hitler tried repeatedly to get Britain to the peace to basically say, "Yeah, there's no reason for us to be at war with each other.
There's a
Our fight's
book.
not with you."
There's
Yeah,
a book
until it
whose-
was.
There's a book, and
No, it was because Britain made it. with them. And once Britain said, no, fuck you, we're at all out war until you give back all the land you conquer. You know, they basically said you have to, you know, surrender
I
all
understand.
your
I
conquered
understand
land.
what Britain said, but I don't blame fucking Churchill for not trusting fucking Hitler. Guy was a fucking lunatic taking over lands.
What everyone's done
Why
throughout history, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't
What
mean
Napoleon
you have to stand by
did,
and
what-
take it.
No, you don't stand by and take it. But if you had, but Jesus Christ, man, England had zero chance to stand up to Germany on its own. It wasn't going to happen. They didn't have the manufacturing capability. They knew they didn't have the planes. They didn't rearm anything since World War One. And Germany rolled out with this whole army and all these tanks
I
and
understand.
planes and
Yeah.
you know, Britain had
We
ships.
weren't
That's the only
ready
thing.
either, Jim. We weren't
No,
ready.
we weren't. We weren't
Yeah.
ready either. But we got
But we
ready.
fucking goddamn wanted to get in the war, didn't we? Because we
Well,
invited it,
they wanted. Well, no, FDR wanted to, and they did everything they could to try to get us involved.
and they
You
did.
know,
Yeah.
you know, we started giving up old ships. I mean, but you know, we gave a bunch of old ships, World War One destroyers and frigates and stuff, whatever corvettes,
Mhm.
to England in exchange for a bunch of islands, which are now the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah. We knew they were attacking Pearl Harbor. We moved our
Oh
big
yeah,
boat
they
out
knew
of
they
the
were.
way.
Yeah, they knew. They knew they were attacking Pearl Harbor. That's why the only thing that got destroyed was World War One ships. That was it. A lot of people
Right.
say, "Oh yeah," but they knew. They knew it was coming.
It fucking knew.
They had intercepted all the stuff and. Yeah, you know, and then just like with the Philippines, we left all the shit on the runways to get attacked in the Philippines, and then lost the Philippines, and you know, it was
Yeah,
like
and then decided to go back to save the Philippines and lost a lot of fucking lives for no reason.
yeah, there was no reason we could have bypassed the Philippines, still won.
I think some people in the chat earlier were saying, well, it only took a couple of minutes to get back to World War II, like as a joke, which I get. But I mean, what Europe's doing today, you have to
It's a
go back to
repeat.
that
Yeah.
and go, kinda. I mean, you have to go, wait a minute, didn't.
Well, it's been the history of Europe. That's why George
Yeah.
Washington, our first president, said, "Do not get involved," because
Right.
the history of Europe going back, I don't know, for all of history has been wars against each other, back and forth. Germans fighting the French, fighting the English, fighting. It's just been nonstop, back and forth.
Mhm.
You had all these. You had, you know, the different. You know, like if you look, there was actually had like the Bourbons, and then there was the Franks, and then there was the what else? The Parisians.
But
and-
as much as they've fucked up their populations with all this immigration, they're not even have a lot of people that believe in their country. Like they're just tourists in their country. They're gonna fight for France and Britain. No, they don't give
That's
a
a-
fuck.
Yeah, who's gonna
Great-
go?
great
Who's gonna
point.
go fight? You know,
Agreed.
like, but this is gonna get to this point, though. I'm gonna show you something. So
to
here,
support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong US backing.
Oh, must
See,
it?
It can't. Yeah, must. It can't because they can't do a fucking thing without us.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So-
not happening there, but
This argument's over already, you loser.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump didn't even listen to you at this point.
We're working with the US on this point after
Yeah.
our meeting with President Trump last week.
Well,
Let me
that
be
meeting,
clear.
Yeah, that was last week. Dumb
yeah, that
fuck.
meeting's over. I mean, your boy Zelensky fucked over you. He fucked you over. Just so you know.
We agree with the president on the urgent need for a durable peace. Now we need to deliver together. Finally,
You get no credit.
we agreed that leaders will meet again very soon to keep the pace behind these actions and to keep working towards this shared plan.
I mean, there's a lot of rumors that it was a bunch of Democrats, like Susan Rice, Victoria Nuland, a couple other people that, and like Chris Murphy and Sheldon Whitehouse, of senators, met with Zelensky the day before and basically told him, "Don't do this, do this." Which, they sure good, I guess you could say that, but then they should be investigated by the FBI for violating the Logan Act because they're not allowed to enact their own foreign policy without permission of the president.
Yeah, I heard there
That's-
were some rhinos involved in that too, like they
Yeah.
were coaching him.
Yeah, I mean, people can say what they want, but they went after Mike Flynn for a telephone call with Sergei Lavrov, just saying, hey, give us some time when we get in there. We'll work this out. Don't do anything rash.
Yeah.
They fuck with his kids too, Flynn.
Yeah, they fuck with his kids. So, I mean, at a minimum, I would think Kash Patel should have FBI agents going knocking on these people's doors, asking them questions, saying, hey, what did you say? What did you guys talk about? And at a minimum, catch them lying, and then you can, hem them up just like they did to Mike Flynn and say, oh, you lied to us. We're going to charge you with lying. Right? Sounds good. Yeah, so England's going to put troops on the ground and everything, and then, oh, look at this. What does this say here? Independent reports that the British Army only has 25 main battle tanks working at best. Mm-hmm. 20,000 troops, we only have 25 tanks. How are we going to send 20,000 troops? We only got 25 tanks.
Who said that?
The people in England, the people in, whatever. Left to rot in sheds, our equipment is either ancient, non-existent, or yet to arrive. While ammunition stocks would not last a week if push came to shove, says defense expert Francis Tusa.
Oh, so in other words, Britain fell back into post-World War I after World War II.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly what they did before. Well, let someone else. I mean, in all honesty, the U.S. is not, we're not in much better shape. With all the stuff
not for
we got,
an all-out war, right?
Yeah, not for an all-out war. We're all the what basically happens is we have budgets to build stuff. We get it, and it's supposed to be a stockpile. And then instead of it being a stockpile, we give it to other countries. We go, oh, well, we got this. Well, we can give it to Israel. We can give it to Saudi Arabia. We can give it to these countries, and we sell it to them at a discount because we go, we're going to replace it with new stuff, and then we don't actually replace it.
And another big problem too, Jim, is we don't have as many factories in place like we did in World War II that we could convert real quick.
Well, that's the thing is the stuff that we're shooting now. Like it was different in World War II when you were shooting, but like basically just bullets. It was giant bullets out of ships. They were just huge fucking shells, and artillery shells. Basically, you could crank those out. Now it's missiles and crazy missiles that are super expensive and hard to make,
and drones
drones and stuff, and it takes 9 months to make a missile or whatever. Like the turnaround time is atrocious. Like we have probably enough.
We're not making P-51 Mustangs anymore.
Right. We're making
fucking
$35 million flying routers. But
flying routers.
We have basically enough air defense weapons for our ships to last about a week. And
you can't mobilize Rosie the Riveter in 2025 to build this stuff.
Yeah,
but Dave, you had a great point, Dave. Like your point being, in the future, like in a generation or two, who's fighting for Europe? There's going to be no fucking Europeans,
right?
Are the Muslims? Is the Caliphate going to fight?
No, this is a great plan for the Muslims. They'll just sit back at home, let that shit fall, and then they'll just take over all of Europe.
Yeah, and you look at them, you have to look here.
Yeah,
they say
yeah.
They literally say we're just going to outbreed you.
Yep. Yeah, they're the only ones in Europe fucking the goddamn Muslims.
I'm telling you, the communists and the Caliphate, they play the long game.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And they take the long way home.
We lost the Cold War with communism.
And Hitler won the fucking World War II with this EU bullshit.
Yeah, but I don't think he would have liked the communists that are in charge of the EU. I think he would have kind of liked it the other way around. There's
a lot of socialists in the EU, though, dude. That's why they're fucking.
That's what Hitler hated fucking communists, so his plan came to fruition, just not quite as he envisioned it, I guess.
Jim wants everybody investigated or arrested for sure, Kevin.
Yes, I do.
Why not?
Turn it all upside down.
Yeah, I want everyone investigated. I want
that's a one.
I want everything investigated.
We're not going to have a World War II where we're just fucking throwing out, 100 tanks a day off an assembly line.
No, it's not going to. That's the thing. It's not going to happen. Like we were churning out ships, like a new ship every week during World War II. Like not huge, but different types of ships. We were building Liberty ships. We were building subs. We were building carriers. We had you know, it's not happening like that
Tanks,
anymore. I mean,
airplanes. It was unbelievable.
you know,
like
why it can't happen? Because we don't have this fucking steel production in the U.S. anymore to actually do it.
But again, it's very similar to current day in that the Americans, if I'm not mistaken, in World War II didn't get involved until a certain time. But before that,
No,
they
they
were shipping over to Europe.
no, but
Like,
they knew that it started in the, like, we started rearming in like 36, 37. Like, they saw it coming enough. They didn't go crazy, but they
they didn't go
started.
crazy, but they were also
It
they were
really
getting
ramped up
practice too
after
by
right.
supplying Britain with weapons.
Right.
So they were manufacturing tanks and stuff for Britain.
Yeah, starting in like 1940, we were Lend-Lease started in the like 1940, and we were sending planes and sending tanks, and I mean, guns,
And then they
Anyway,
fucking bombed us in Pearl Harbor, and all the men left the factories, and the women took over, building that shit. Old men and women. They built a lot of fucking equipment, dude. A lot.
yeah, but I mean, you think, because like in 1941, when Pearl Harbor happened, at that time we had, I think, 6 or 7 carriers, maybe 8 carriers total, like full size carriers. We had some, maybe something like that total. And then by the next year, because we fought it out for a little while, and there was a problem because we got, it took about a year or 2 years to get really cranking. But then by 1943,
we had the most.
We had like 12 carriers in the Pacific.
Yeah, we had the most.
do you think America has the capability to unite like that again? I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'd have, there's probably a lot
You never know till it happens, right, Julio?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
you never
true.
know.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, but anyway, this says, when news that the UK would be at the front of the queue to provide troops for a Ukraine peacekeeping force, possibly as many as 20,000, a contact from Army headquarters at Andover messaged me, "Where's this 20,000 figure coming from? Who's briefing this? We couldn't do this in a month of Sundays." The next few days saw this offer drop to 10,000 to 12,000 for yet as unspecified ground force, but the panic among Army planners was much the same. There has been no requirement for such a deployment. The Army is not set up for such numbers and has not been funded to do so. And worse, the Army is at a nadir as regards to its capability to provide robust, capable warfighting forces of the type that would be needed for Ukraine. Equipment is either ancient, non-existent, yet to arrive. Ammunition stocks would not last a week if push came to shove, and communication systems are old and flaky. It might not go too far to suggest that the British Army is at its lowest nadir since June 1940, after Operation Dynamo saw the British Expeditionary Force evacuated from Dunkirk. Yeah, see, that was a problem too. After Dunkirk happened, when they got chased off of continental Europe, they lost almost all their equipment.
Yeah, they had to leave it behind.
Yeah. That was like 80% of their tanks and all that stuff was just gone. So
it's amazing, though. I mean, didn't the Brits were over in Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff? They weren't supplying anything. They were just supplying bodies.
But there was like small numbers of people. You know what I mean? Like mainly like
they
during the first Gulf War, they had supplied quite a bit of troops and stuff, but that was that was 1990. So forces were still high because the Soviet Union had just fallen.
Right.
So there was still a lot of Cold War forces and stuff, and it was different. You're talking, that's 35 years ago.
Now it is, yeah.
Yeah. So, they had several, I think the Brits had 30 or 40,000 troops in Desert Storm, but they had a lot of planes. I think there was over 100 British planes during Desert Shield and stuff there. But yeah, no. Now the main battle tank MBT force is at a disastrously low. The Challenger 2 fleet, just over 400 were bought in the 1990s, has a notional strength of 213 tanks after 14 were donated to Ukraine. However, these have been at the receiving end of malign neglect. Maintenance regimes slashed in the 2000s and 2010s, spares not purchased, supply chains disappearing as companies went bust. In 2023, it was reported that only around 160 of the fleet is at any fit state to be used on operations after extensive work, and the situation has gotten worse. The end result, the Royal Armored Corps has not been able to deploy a realistic Challenger 2 regiment of 59 tanks for many years. Lack of available Challenger 2s has been the Army's ambition for MBTs has been at 20 to 25 level at very best. When Denmark and Sweden have more credible tank forces than the United Kingdom, you know there's an issue. And as Ukraine war has shown, tanks do have a major role, especially if a peacekeeping force were to be a credible deterrent. The Royal Artillery used to have a force of over 100 self-propelled AS-90 artillery pieces. But much like the Challenger 2 fleet, this has been left to rot. With only a handful available for training, just before COVID, I sat next to a lieutenant colonel who was talking over an AS-90 regiment. I have 24 guns in the shed, no tracks, no engines. I'll have to do a lot of work to stop morale falling. That was over 5 years ago, and again, the issues of no spares and defunct supply chains have not made the situation any better. At least 32 AS-90s have been gifted to Ukraine, an entirely sensible move, but this has left the army with little to no artillery.
Why is it a sensible move when they don't have their own enough for themselves?
Yeah, I don't know. An interim batch of 14 Swedish Archer 155 millimeter guns have been bought. So they had to buy Swedish guns. But this is an incredibly limited number, and if the Ukraine war has showed us anything, artillery is still the queen of the battlefield. A British force deployed to Ukraine would need substantially more artillery, or it would lack credibility. And even assuming the army could deploy 12 Archers as part of a Ukraine ground force, 24 to 36 is what would be needed at least, to make them credible, they need the ammunition stocks. In combat, Ukraine has shown that you have a budget for 200 shells per day per gun, and that's a floor, not a ceiling. You need at least 30 days supply, and maybe 60 in total. That's a minimum of 75,000 shells at a cost of 350 million, and as high as 150,000 shells at 700 million. At present, the UK simply does not hold anything like the sort of artillery ammunition stocks that would be needed in conflict.
That's
Indeed,
fucking unbelievable, dude.
No,
That ammunition?
we are low as fuck on artillery shells too, dude.
Just for regular ammunition?
Yes, we've had to get shells, like we've pre-positioned shells places like Israel. All right, Israel paid us for them, but we keep them there. But they know if we need them, we can take them and do something else with them. And so we've been taking them from Israel and sending them to Ukraine.
What's our problem? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Fucking shells? You telling me that the American people have more shells in the military right now?
The 19th Amendment is the answer to your question, Dave.
Yeah, it will take several years for them to be able to pump it out. Like we've been trying and trying. Plus, the problem is too, like a lot of these weapons, we've made them more advanced. Like I don't know if it's this Archer. There's some new Excalibur. It's called an Excalibur shell that costs like a lot of money, but supposedly, as opposed to like old artillery, like okay, it's going to hit in like this 100 foot range or 100 meter square somewhere. It's going to hit somewhere in there. But now they've got it down to like a 5 meter square with this new artillery, but it costs like 100 times the price.
Well, we're talking missiles here.
Basically, it's like a guided missile.
I'm talking about ammo. I'm talking about ammo. Is this just ammo, or are we talking about?
Well, they're artillery shells. They're artillery shells. So they're like, but they
stuff. Yeah,
for like tanks. But these are like for artillery, where they take gunpowder, they put gunpowder bags. They have basically like the same way like the guns on the Navy ships used to fire. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. You can get pretty accurate with it, but these are two vignettes, but they are representative of the Parlo equipment state of the British Army. Other armored vehicle fleets are equally in dire straits. Think about it. 35 years ago, Warrior infantry combat vehicles charged into Kuwait. 30 years ago, a Warrior battle group was deployed to Bosnia to much acclaim. The vehicles that are still in service are substantially the same as they were. Opportunities to modernize and upgrade have been forever pushed aside. Like, yeah, the U.S. is still deploying the same fucking tanks we've had since the 80s. We've upgraded them slightly, but it's still the M1 Abrams has been around since the mid 80s. It was our tank, over 40 years, the same tank. Some might point to areas where the picture isn't all that bad. The Boxer armored personnel carrier is in full production. Vehicles are being delivered to the user. The Challenger 3 upgrade to create a new modern version of the current Challenger 2 is underway. The Ajax family of armored vehicles is also in production. And last year, an agreement was signed with Germany to cooperate and co-produce an artillery version of Boxer. So the darkest time is just before the dawn, and we can now see the first glimmers of sunlight on the horizon. However, and here's the beef, Challenger 3 tanks won't be delivered for at least 2 years, and these will be for trials, not operations. Well, see, that's another thing, too. People always forget, like, when you're at war, you don't have trials. You
There's no
fucking
trials.
produce the shit, you put it out
Yeah.
there, and you see
Yeah.
what happens, and then you just fix it as you go.
Yeah,
You know.
the Germans were fucking crazy with that shit.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
Yeah, that
you don't
trial
go, oh,
is
well,
called trial.
hold on, we got a test. No, it's get it out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's trial by fire. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Similarly, new artillery systems won't arrive until the end of the decade. A 5 to 6 year wait. In contrast, the time between order and delivery of Ukraine's Boxer artillery system was 27 months. There has also been offers to accelerated deliveries for the UK, but no decisions have been made. Ajax, who knows? It's already a decade late. So what can the army offer for a Ukraine peacekeeping force? Can you round up 12,000 troops with their weapons on a parade square and then put them on buses to Ukraine? Probably. But what can they do once they get there? There are unmarked minefields everywhere, so you need a whole load of protected vehicles, which we either don't have or we let them molder in sheds. So what? Let them patrol in unarmed Land Rovers again? That went well in Iraq and Afghanistan. And even if you could round up a 12,000 men force, after 6 to 8 months, you need to rotate it with another 12,000 troops. The same again in 6 to 8 months after that, and so on. Under the current funding arrangements, the Army, and the same is true for the Royal Navy and the RAF, is currently not organized to do this.
What?
Starting- Yeah, they're not organized to
They
do it.
don't
They've
have
got
that many people in their military right now?
no. I think they only got like 100,000 people total. And I mean total and everything.
They're gonna have to do a draft, I guess. Draft a bunch of fucking
Yeah.
Muslims that have invaded your country.
Yeah, regarding the cost of any Ukraine peacekeeping operation, taking ones from the 1990s and 2000s, 12,000 to 15,000 troops would be 3 billion to 5 billion at the very least. Again, the Army is not funded for this, so it would have to come out of the Central Reserves. A wider set of questions, therefore, needs to be asked. Has the Army spoken truth to power about what it can realistically do? Or has the famed can-do attitude been to the fore? Don't worry, it'll be all right. On the night, has institutional embarrassment meant that deficiencies have not been highlighted, so the Prime Minister doesn't have a true picture of how bad things really are?
Or the
Is
trying.
this a Telegraph?
The Independent.
Independent.
So the prime minister is just talking out of his ass. He has no idea. He's wanting Trump to come to his rescue. That was what I got from his little statement there. Oh, we're going to do this for Ukraine, but we can only do it if the United States is on board. Well,
I think that ship might have sailed.
Yeah, that
I
ship's
think
gone,
that
man.
yeah, I think that original offer is going to go up quite a bit for mineral resources if he wants our help now.
Fuck it.
No,
He's
wait,
going to
no,
buy
wait.
them from Russia now.
We have this Nazi lady.
This- Oh.
Is this a German bitch?
She's like, she's German. See, that's the thing, because they got it so intertwined. I think she's an EU politician. So she's, you know,
Oh.
like,
Unelected, I
yeah.
think.
We had a very good and frank discussion. We've discussed everything that is around peace and strength. And of course, security guarantees are of utmost importance for Ukraine, but we need
Really?
comprehensive security guarantees. This includes that we have to put Ukraine in a position of strength, that
Yeah.
it has the means to fortify and protect itself.
I mean, I don't know if anyone remembers, but there was this peace agreement back in like 2018, 2019, 2020, something called the Minsk Accords.
Mhm.
It was all designed, and they all admitted it, all these European politicians admitted that it was just designed to give Ukraine enough time to get enough weapons to where they could fight the Russians. That's all it was. So that's all these people are. We got to get them. They're just going to try to do the same thing. They're going to, we got to get by time so that we can give them some more weapons so then they could. Russia's going to get tired of playing these fucking games. I don't know. Personally, I'd like to see the Russians just roll through like the fucking old Red Army and just roll over them all.
They were going to do it when it started, Jim. I thought when it started, it was going to be over like in 2 weeks. Like Ukraine has no shot against the
See,
real.
if you've looked at any throughout history of what Russia does in a war, it never starts out well. It goes badly for several years
True.
until finally they get going,
this
and then
is
it's just like then it
Ukraine.
becomes unstoppable. Yeah, it's
But this
Ukraine, but like they
it's a
didn't
pop-
go in to just kill a bunch. Like no matter what they say to people, saying, "Oh, they were killing civilians," they were doing this. They have gone out of their way to not kill civilians. They could really be killing civilians if they wanted to. If they didn't give a fuck. I mean, look at Gaza. All right, that's what it looks like when a country doesn't give a fuck about killing civilians. You don't see those pictures coming out of Ukraine. You just don't.
No, we see girls in their army outfits acting like they're badasses on Twitter or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Not much different than this, Dave. I mean, why am I listening to this person?
That is a fucking warmongering bitch.
You're going to be the military expert? This person? I don't think
about a defensive position for Ukraine. They have nothing. They just need to flatten Kiev at this point, says Doc number 27.
Yeah.
I agree. And just fucking assassinate goddamn what's his name in Minecraft. Get it over with.
No.
Yeah, just get it over with. So let's hear what else Ursula von Doom has to say.
From the economic survival to the military resilience. It's basically turning Ukraine into a steel porcupine that is indigestible for potential invaders.
Sure.
And therefore the focus is not only on the military supply, but also, for example, securing the energy system and making sure that over time this is a strong and resilient country. The second element I brought to the table is that we urgently have to rearm Europe. And for that, I will present a comprehensive plan how to rearm Europe on the 6th of March, when we have our European Council to the leaders.
At what level of spending should individual countries make to defense?
Good question.
One thing is very sure, we have to have a surge in defense. We really have to step up massive
Answer the question.
expenditure. And for that, we need a clear, big plan from the European Union for the member states and, of course, for common European domains. Like, for example, advanced air shields, we need a common European approach, but also the member states need more fiscal space.
Well, exactly what the Nazi plan was: have a European space and a common defense with all these countries, and we'll come together and for greater Germany. I mean, greater Europe.
It's funny, you did not hear this up until about 5 weeks ago.
No.
Right.
And they're parroting exactly what Trump's been saying for years.
Well,
like,
but
they can
the
pay for their own
problem
shit.
is their problem is that they can't afford to do any of this because they've spent all their money on these social programs and there's benefits for the people, and now they've got all these people that are lazy and fat and stupid, kind of like we have the problem here in the U.S.
Yep.
My
You know,
apartment.
yeah.
I mean, all this social welfare that they give out. Oh my God.
You know,
I'm gonna guarantee you one thing: when they cut that shit for defense, there's gonna be fucking riots.
I've never liked Europeans. I was going to say.
I liked it better when they weren't
Eastern Europeans,
each other.
I'm okay with, but Europeans like the frogs and the fucking.
Hey, you're talking to one.
Sorry, man. You know,
my mom was
Sorry.
French.
The Germans already.
Was
Italians.
yeah.
Was
French.
Well, she's gone now.
Now she's an American. She's American now.
She's gone, but yeah,
She's American now.
she never got her citizenship.
Oh,
She kept her green card her whole life.
that's terrible. Well, she had a green card. There you go. Good enough for me.
Hypocrites.
Good enough for Gavin McInnes.
She spent 54 years in America, only 18 years in Europe, and still kept her French citizenship. So I used to make fun of her all the time, though. I used to call her a frog all the time because I did not like
France is one of the France is one of a lot of the countries is one of the countries where it's la sangre for the the blood is what determines your citizenship. So technically, you could be a French citizen, Dave.
Oh, I know. I could get dual citizenship, sure.
Yeah.
So Dave is frog BTM. Fuck you, Chris. And that blasphemous statement.
Wait a minute, is that
I
why you and Frog Tony get along so well? Because you're Frog and he's Frog, and so
I don't know. I never left a stream to go on his stream.
I don't know who would do such a thing. Whoa, shots fired.
Go and score Scott's Earth.
I
Nice,
was
Dave.
only reminded of that tonight when fucking Cynic told him about it earlier. I was like, oh yeah, Jim did do that, didn't he?
I did not do that. It was a problem with my
You did.
computer.
Oh, okay.
I don't like it when mom and dad fight.
Dave is more frog than Frog Tony will ever be.
Yeah, let's see what else he says here.
To do a certain defense.
Have you won the argument with European colleagues about stepping up to the plate in terms of
Absolutely.
money?
We all have understood that after a long time of underinvestment, it is now of utmost importance
Pause it,
to
Jim.
step up the defense.
Julio, you're exactly right. This is what Trump said fucking 7 years ago. I'm tired of paying for you ass clowns. Spend your own fucking
See,
money.
I'm wondering what's been, sorry, David, but I'm wondering what's been said behind the scenes. Like, has Trump and other people said, listen, we're getting out of NATO. You guys are, fuck you. We're done.
He's threatened it. He's threatened it for sure. Yep.
I saw a recent interview with the NATO, I don't know if he's a PR guy or whatever the fuck, some muckety muck in NATO. And they said, is NATO worried about the US pulling out of NATO? And the NATO guy said, that's not going to happen. He was like, on no uncertain terms, saying that's not
Well, no, yeah. And then
You know
later
what?
he said,
we might not get out, but we might determine who stays the fuck in. You can only you have to spend this much to be a participant in the group, or
and they've let it go for
out.
way too long. But
Yep.
they let it slide for way too long. But I saw that interview. The guy also said there is no NATO without the U.S. Because there is no NATO without the U.S. There is no NATO. I mean, the chart is fucking retarded. The amount of money we spend and everyone else we spend 3 times as much as all the rest of them combined.
And all of our active deployment in foreign countries is unreal compared to what they do.
Yeah, all these countries like England and Germany and all these places don't have to have a big army because it's our fucking troops there.
Yeah,
manning these things.
They're not sending. We don't have German bases in America to help protect us, do we? Nope.
So the next question is NATO necessary in 2025?
No.
Is there a point to it? There's no
it's
Warsaw
not. It's
Pact
not really.
anymore.
No, it's not. There should be a Pacific version of NATO. Actually, is what should be. We should have one with. We got one. We have a treaty in place with Japan and
Australia.
Well, the Philippines, we have a straight up treaty with the Philippines. We have to because the Philippines would have been like Guam or like. Probably more like Hawaii. The Philippines would have been a state more than likely by now if it wasn't for people's unwillingness to keep it. The Philippines was, was a territory of the United States prior to World War II.
And they enjoyed it. They enjoyed
it, and they were fine with it. It was after World War II when this pullback, all this stuff about no longer, empires. The U.S. had an empire. We had all these islands all over the place through the Pacific, Solomon Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico.
My dad was stationed in Guam for 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, Britain still got a bunch of islands, and Britain still got the Falkland fucking Islands that they're claiming. And, the Diego Garcia is technically a British island, even though it's been our air base there since,
Yeah, Falklands is right off South America, right? The coast of South
right off of Argentina. Yeah.
So maybe the EU should militarize then, since they're the governing body of the European Union. Maybe they should militarize and replace
Well, I think,
NATO.
if I'm not mistaken, I think in the EU's charter, it is that they are supposed to strictly be an economic.
Unknown caller.
You know what I mean? It's economic. I don't think they're supposed to be involved in militaristic stuff.
Oh, they might want to change that idea.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, but I think that was part of the setup for it. You know what I mean? Was that it's not? But I
just want to know how many people would want to leave the EU if the EU starts putting demands on all these countries to do these things. It'd be like, I don't want to do that. I mean, that's the reason I joined this EU, is to not have to do this shit. And now you're telling me like you just said, Jim, we have this charter that we don't have to spend all this money. And now you're telling me we have to build our defenses. Fuck it. I can do that on my own. is my own
So
country.
the opposition.
Well, because you
the
know,
opposition-
you know,
I
a
mean,
country
press.
that's not part of the EU, that's part of this conversation, is Britain. It left the fucking EU because they were a bunch of fucking tards, and now they're back to stuff like Poland has a communist as a fucking president now, or whatever prime minister. That guy Tusk.
Oh yeah.
He
More
only
Spain
won.
than these guys.
No, but no. Poland's gone the opposite way. Like Poland was based and awesome, and then all of a sudden there was an election which was funded rough and pushed by USAID. Why is USAID funding to get communists and Marxists in power? I don't understand it. What?
But didn't they do that in South America a bunch
Yes.
of times?
Yeah, they did it in South America. They're doing it all over the place. They're doing all this shit, and they're basically like USAID is pushing all this crazy gender shit all over the world.
Yeah.
They're doing it. What do you mean all over the world? They're
Well,
doing
here
it
too. But yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, and then if you trace back where, hold on, I need to do this. Before I get into this, I need to close out a couple things here. I don't want to lose my Facebook account, so I'm going to get out of Facebook. We're going to get out of Twitter here too, because bye Twitter world.
Oh, you were streaming on Facebook?
Yeah, I was streaming on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if anyone watches on Facebook.
I don't know either.
Why not?
I don't really go on Facebook, but anyway.
They barely watch us on YouTube, so
Hey, I got 20 people watching right now.
that's awesome. Right.
That's good.
20 more than you were going to talk to before tonight, right?
I talk to thousands of voices every day. They're all in my head.
When they answers when you got to worry, Jim. That's what my grandpa told me. If you talk to yourself and you answer, then you got a problem, boy.
Yeah, we didn't even do solar flare report yet. But so there was a group of people, we'll call them the Tiny Hats.
Mhm.
And they were doing a bunch of stuff in the turn of the into the 20th century, early 1900s, all around the world that upset a lot of people. People like, I don't know, Henry Ford was not a real big fan of what they were doing. There was another group of people, let's say, Walt Disney was not a fan. And then there was a group of people in, let's call it we'll just make up a name that's just really great, called the Weimar Republic, that was unhappy with these people because they were doing things like they set up the first ever gender reassignment clinic in Germany.
Really?
Yes. You know, when they were talking about books being burned and stuff in Germany at the beginning of World War II, like they did burn them later on, they did burn other books, but the first books and the first things they did was actually the gender shit.
Oh, the Margaret Sanger shit and all that
Correct.
stuff.
Yeah, like all the stuff, all of the Germans' plans for everything they did, their model came from the progressive Democrats of the United States. Seriously, they were huge. FDR had people in his cabinet that were avowed Nazis.
Yep.
They were completely intertwined. They thought it was the greatest thing in the world. They thought fucking Mussolini was awesome. They thought this is a way for us to get our socialist ideas, because that was everything they say, like, oh no, fascism, this stuff is right wing. No, it's not. It was all socialism. It was a fucking, that they took socialism and they made it a national socialism, for
And
the
they
nation.
definitely thought that killing defective babies was a good thing in America back then too. They had no problem with it.
Well, Margaret Sanger,
Not just
do
her.
about 5 minutes of research into that.
Yeah, not just her.
It will blow up.
Margaret Sanger's defective babies were a little bit different, though, Julio.
Right.
Yeah, she was unsavory types, but it was the same thing and the same stuff that's what they call them. I'm not saying that's what they were. That's what Margaret Sanger called them. It's the same policies that the Nazis ended up enacting. It's the same shit straight out of eugenics, the stuff Mengele. These are people that, like Margaret Sanger, the Democrats, and those guys, they're like simpatico, same shit. They were like, yeah, go. It wasn't until, for whatever reason, I don't. Is it possible that a lot of the stuff that that later they, like after the war, all these atrocities and stuff, is it just because they lost that they were mad about it? Because there was a lot of bad shit happening all over. I mean,
All over the world, dude. Yeah.
The U.S. experimented on black people, man.
Mhm.
The Tuskegee experiments. That shit went on until the 1970s.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and other shit. There was also experiments, I want to say, in St. Louis where they poisoned like gay.
Dude, they experimented on their own military members.
Right, but I mean, like school kids, like where they were giving school kids irradiated fruit and stuff to see how much radiation they could take.
Yep, it's facts.
You know, they released.
They irradiated the air from airplanes to see how much these fucking poison gases we could take is in America. They were doing this shit. Like, it's fucking ridiculous what they were doing.
Yeah, they were. I want to say anthrax in San Francisco. They released anthrax to see if it could actually work. If you know,
in
like
the air,
just in the air. Like let's see what it does.
Yep. Not a lot, but enough to see if it would make people sick. Yeah. Fucking psychopaths.
Well, it's
All
when people
government
say,
sanctioned.
We've turned into a modern day Weimar Republic with degeneracy.
It was lockstep, dude. We were doing the same shit at the same time.
What I'm saying is that history is written by the victors, and so the fact that all these things that the Nazis were, they were bad. Okay, the Nazis were not good people. Nobody was. Soviets definitely weren't good people.
Americans weren't. Look at
Americans
Dresden.
weren't. Dresden, we put all the Japanese in fucking internment camps, took all their shit from them,
and never gave it back.
Nobody was good. I mean, look at the shit that happened to the Indians over, you know, in the 1800s, 1900s. What we did to the American Indians. There's no good people. That's the world, and you can't rule.
No.
You can't rule over people by being nice.
No, you're there. It's called conquering them.
Yeah. Point is that I don't know how much of what we think and know is actually the truth, or how much we were propagandized. That's all I'm saying. Like how bad things were. Like, I have
50-50.
questions.
It's a 50-50 split.
I have questions. I'm not trying to deny anything. I'm not denying the Holocaust or denying anything. I'm saying, like, I'd like to know the actual truth. Because now they're saying 7 million. You know, 20 years ago it was 6 million. So where did the extra million come from? This is things I'd like to know.
I was going to say something really dickish, but
I mean, how
I was going to also, Day.
Well, how has the number of Holocaust survivors gone up? How?
Hold on.
I mean,
I can
just explain it to me. I don't
get
it.
How are they still talking about it? Like
because bankers are really, really good at math. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, it seems like they're good at multiplying, not actually adding and subtracting.
Not when I deal with them, it's more subtraction.
I was about to go to bed too, boys. Y'all just hit my favorite topic.
Well, Rilzik, make sure you run to the hills. No, that's not Anthrax. That's never mind. That's
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's Iron Maiden. What's the one about the Indian? Oh, Indians. One's
Iron Maiden.
has one about Indians.
No,
Anthrax had one. Die for the Indians. Fly for the Indians.
I don't know that one. I know Run for the Hills.
Right?
Are we breaking down the hot hits finally?
Maybe. Well, Rilzik, yeah. You know, and that's the Anthrax. Not. I am the law. You won't fuck around no more. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the man. I'm the man. It was like a heavy metal rap song. You don't remember that?
Not a huge Anthrax guy.
And Public Enemy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was never a huge Anthrax guy.
Let's hear what this has to say.
Investment for a prolonged period of time. It's for the security of the European Union, and we need in the geostrategic environment in which we live.
If there's any Jews in Europe, they should start running now.
And therefore, stepping up the defensive.
What message would you like to take to America? What message would you like to give to America after today's meeting?
We are ready, together with you,
Why are they having a European Union meeting in London? London is not part of the European Union. They're Brexit. They left the
Yeah.
European Union. What the fuck's going on?
And why is the European Union ready to work with America? You don't need us. Obviously, you don't need us because you're giving fucking Zelensky credibility after Trump said your credibility is bullshit. If y'all would tell Zelensky to go fuck off, then he would come back to the table a lot quicker. You're just giving this guy a little bit more hope to fucking die 3 months longer than he should.
Where's the EU headquarters? Brussels?
Brussels, yeah. Brussels, I think.
Didn't Luxembourg talk shit about America too? Like Luxembourg?
Yeah,
they said
Luxembourg said they're going to do this, they're going to do that. So it was like, you got like 1,000 troops, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, and 950 of those are fucking admin people.
To defend democracy.
Okay, and I'm tired of this defend democracy. They haven't voted in Ukraine in over 5 years.
Right.
All right.
And we don't have a democracy in America, so you're not speaking our language.
Well, at least we have elections, unlike Russia.
We don't have a
Ukraine.
but we have it.
Well, is it an election if it's rigged? Is it an election if they stuff the ballots or dead people vote? Is it an election if they come in afterwards and say, oh, that guy can't run? They try to put the people in prison like they did in Brazil or here or in Romania or other places. I mean, what's happening is a bastardization of actually what people
think democracy is.
Yeah, it's not. We are truly through the looking glass. You know,
it's part and parcel of living in the. Isn't that what that asshole in London said?
It's so
weird
weird too.
Stabbed in the streets, part and parcel of living in London.
Like obviously, Jim, in this phase of human existence, this is about the most comfortable humans around the world have all lived during this phase, right? We all got it pretty good. I mean, but probably 90% of the fucking world has a cell phone. That's crazy when you think about it, right? Like the population of cell phones in the world and shit out there. But these people,
too, like,
these people want to fucking fuck this up and go like.
Why are we the only
country?
Why is the United States the only country on the fucking planet that you don't have to prove who you are to vote? Every other country in the world, you do.
I don't know.
I mean, even these shithole countries, they do shit like you got to dip your finger in indelible ink that you can't come off, so they know you voted. You know, so you can't vote more than once. They know you are, and you put your fingerprint on the fucking
and why
thing.
do we get to vote for fucking 6 months in advance of the election?
I mean, the meta question here is why whoever's pushing like no ID for voting, for an example, why are they doing it?
Because they want to cheat. That's why they want to cheat. Yeah.
You saw the map.
Kamala Harris only wants states that don't require ID.
Yeah.
So
that's
is it only for power they want to cheat, or is it for
power?
That's larger
power?
Okay.
But I mean, Kamala won every state that don't require ID. Trump won every other fucking state. That's how. That's what the stats say. That's all you need to know.
Hey, Forging Freedom TV. I don't think I've seen you here before. Thanks for stopping by. Please don't forget to hit that like button, and if you don't mind, subscribe to the channel so that we can keep bringing you this awesome content.
You're being a little pushy with your sales pitch. Dial it
That was
back
nice,
a bit.
Jim. Disagree.
I loved it,
Jim. That was
That
good.
was very
shit.
Dial it back a bit, man. You got to be a little more personable. Talk to them like they're your best friend and not a subscriber.
Can you kick him?
Listen,
I'm just trying to help you, bro.
Please donate to my PayPal and my Venmo and my
There you go. Nailed it.
Streamlabs. We've got a goal tonight. The goal is just $5. $5 will get Cynic kicked.
Where's the
Anyone
links?
send me $5. Mail it to my PO box.
Oh, you don't have a link for your Venmo?
No, I don't have a Venmo. I don't have a PayPal. I have a PayPal, but I ain't put my fucking PayPal out there.
He's got a yacht. What does he need a Venmo?
If you had Streamlabs, you could donate to your Streamlabs.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, but let's finish listening to this.
You could donate to my channel though if you don't want to give it to Jim.
What's the link tree? I don't know what a link tree is.
Principle.
Yeah, you do.
That
You get your
there's a
only
rule
feeds
of
on it.
law that you cannot invade your neighbor and bully your neighbor, or you can.
Bully? What is with the fucking bully? You cannot bully your neighbor. Don't tell your neighbor to bully your neighbor.
Why don't you ask Italy how it feels that they're being invaded daily by fucking illegals from Africa? Like daily. These fuckers are invading Italy. Aren't they getting bullied?
They're getting
And
bullied.
And their fucking people have to tolerate this nonsense, just like we do with our border. It's
You know what
bullshit.
else? I think what was it? The Congo. The Congo said, "Hey, if you guys are interested, we've got like all types of gold and shit
Rwandans.
here. You know, just if you come and help us out with these crazy people that are attacking us, and you know, you can have it. Just have it. We don't care. The gold it serves us no purpose. You can take it. Why don't we do that?
Why don't we do
There was an
that?
African reporter in one of the press briefings that blonde chick, whoever the fuck her name is, who I don't like. Was
An African reporter with blonde? chick? Wait, what?
Wait,
Was
what?
it? Wait, what?
There was a reporter from an African newspaper that asked, was it Levitt? Is her name? The press secretary. She asked her that question, like, "Well, hey, we're getting fucking invaded by Rwandans. Is any news on that?" But apparently, that
No,
doesn't matter.
I have no clue, but I'm still waiting for the girls to get let go. Remember when they did that bring our girls back stuff, the tweets when the girls got kidnapped by that, and then that was all the end of them. I'm still waiting for them to come back.
Is that Coney? No, am I wrong?
Yeah.
Change borders with force, and it's in our common interest to prevent future wars, that we make very clear that these rules count, and that together the democracies are standing up for that. The possibility is, of course, that we have the wider Europe approach. So
Wider?
today
What?
we had the Norwegians, the Turks. Of course, we were hosted here by the UK. Canada was also there. So the wider concept of Europe stepping up.
And what does that mean in terms of numbers of soldiers on the ground? How many European soldiers on the ground?
United States, we stand up for the common interest. Thank you.
So Canada's part of Europe now? Huh.
I don't know. That dude was. It's like, so how many soldiers on the ground? Like he was fucking on it. That reporter.
Yeah.
Finally. You
giving
know
you
what?
cream-
It is kind of cool how these reporters are kind of asking real questions now. They're not all fluff questions, Jim. Like Trump's turned that shit around quick on these people. Like, ask these fuckers the questions, make them answer.
I'm going to disagree a little with you. Who was the jackass who asked Zelensky, "Do you own a suit"?
I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, that was kind of bullshit.
That
I'm
was
not gonna
just
lie to
that,
you.
I don't. That was probably somebody.
Probably one of the new people that Trump.
Yeah,
hired.
I don't.
One
you know, I
America
don't-
Voice, America's
yeah, but
Voice.
there was no need for that. I mean, it really
No.
wasn't. You know, there wasn't no need to ask.
Yeah,
that
he was already
question.
getting his shit pushed in, right?
Yeah,
And then,
there was no need
then
to
you
do
turn
that.
around and you go, "Hey, dude, why aren't you wearing a suit?" And you know what? I kind of liked his answer. He was like,
Well,
after the
it was
war's
part
over,
of. Well, he said, "I'll wear a different costume." It's the broken English part of it that's the problem. You know, because
Yeah, but-
that comes off wrong because it's like, oh, so you're just wearing a costume now.
yeah, but
But I
then
mean,
he
we've
was
got
like,
problems here. We've got these reporters who claim to be, you know, like this guy, you know, Pablo Manriquez from Pablo Reports. ICE raids are planned for Monday and Tuesday in Northern Virginia, per multiple sources who tell us ICE has obtained between 75 and 100 judicial warrants. So that means they're warrants to arrest people. They try to change it like judicial warrants. Like, well, that's what a warrant is. It comes from a fucking judge, dumbass. But no, judicial warrants mean ICE can go into your home, so plan accordingly. Yeah, that means they have a warrant to fucking arrest you.
My neighborhood's about to pick up.
Remember that state police have been deputized to help ICE, so highways, etc., are unsafe. So this is somebody who should probably be. I mean, I'm big on the freedom of speech and all that good shit, but you're helping people who are here breaking the law. You're enabling them to break the law and trying to aid them. So to me, I think that's a crime. It's aiding and abetting criminal behavior. It's no different than if I go, hey, that bank over there, the security's lax, and you know this is the passcode to get in. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
I like his little avatar has a mask that says everything you need to know.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
talked about that,
Forging Freedom. The war goes back a lot further. People try to start it at 2022, but in reality, it started, prior to 2014 even. I mean, really kicked off in 2014 when they did the coup, and then basically tried to kick Russia out of a base that they had been in for 100 years. And and then they were shelling, for 8 years they were shelling eastern Ukraine, killing tens of thousands of civilians.
Kind of like a Bosnia situation.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. Like the whole Bosnian situation, when you really look into it, a lot of it was all bullshit.
For us to get involved, right?
Yeah, it was all bullshit.
That was Clinton's like little fucking, hey, look at me, I'm a glory guy, right? It's kind of an easy thing for him to go do, wasn't it?
Yeah, now it says Ukrainian President Zelensky says he is ready to sign the minerals deal with the U.S. president. This comes 2 days after he was kicked out of the White House, where he's expected to sign the minerals agreement. But they said that was the third time he said he was going to sign it and then backed out again. That, once they were in Ukraine and they tried to talk to him, he said he was going to sign it. And then he said, no, I want to do it here, which was in Munich or somewhere else. They went, and then he didn't want to do it there. And then here, since this isn't just like a random stream, here's a man on Reddit shares how his wife is devastated and shattered after he told her he thinks he might be trans and desires to wear her clothing. Those responding in the trans subreddit are encouraging him to transition and say his wife is transphobic. They tell him he should put his life and his own needs first. This is crazy. It says that he's struggling with his gender identity. They've been together for 10 years and married for 2. And she's a devoted partner, and they spending their life together. And he doesn't understand why she wouldn't want him to chop his dick off and turn it into an inverted pussy hole.
Reddit used to be a lot different, like 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, they got rid of all the base people.
Yeah.
They're calling her a bigoted bitch of a wife. Yeah. Gender identity laws give these men more rights than the women they are badly mimicking. You can see, like, here's this, look at this is, look at these people. We're having a baby, and then Ryan's birthday, 25 months, HRT. See this? These people. Oh, look at this. Oh,
how do you fix the next generation? I have kids that are in their 20s, and sometimes I'm like, they're serious about this stuff. They don't think it's a joke. They're like, well, yeah, what's wrong with, one of my kids anyway. Like, what's wrong with men having a baby? I'm like, well, are you out of your fucking mind?
Wait,
what's wrong with it?
It's not possible.
Gonna happen.
My youngest daughter is quite lefty, is what I'm saying. And she's kind of all
but
about
she knows fucking science, dude.
She does. She'll grow out of it like my other 3 did. But it's frustrating. Like, is it brainwashing, or are we just old men yelling at cloud? I have no idea.
No. I think the answer is there's nothing wrong with men adopting kids, but they can't have them.
Yeah, here's it might be.
I don't even like that, but yeah,
there's.
It's a truth, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw that. Do you remember that story about those gay activists that adopted those boys and they were molesting them? And
the ones in North Carolina.
Yeah, it was really brutal. But anyway, here's another gay man that's going to tell us about how he likes being Dave's congressman.
Trump and Vance are absolute cowards. We should be thanking Ukraine for taking on the Russians.
He did. They gerrymandered his seat away from him.
Yeah. What's he doing now? Just commenting on news?
Just crying and commenting about how Trump's a Nazi. Yeah.
He'll be working at the Public Works pretty soon.
Russians for fighting back against the Russian invasion, which, by the way, yes, the Russians invaded, when Donald Trump is too scared to even stand next to Vladimir Putin and say something bad about him. He's scared of Vladimir Putin. Did you respond
to this, Jim?
And he's president of the United States.
Yeah, I call him a fag.
First of all, you can't. A fag would say.
Yeah, you can't negotiate with somebody if you're insulting them. I mean, people like that's what Trump tried to say. He's like, listen, I have to in order to make this work, I've got to make both sides think I'm neutral, and I'm trying to get a deal here, and I can't take one. Trump can't go into Putin and say, you're a scumbag, you murdered all these people, and you're going to die, and we're going to get you out of office, and we're going to kill you. But hey, why don't we make peace? And give us
Think
you know,
about negotiating with your boss for a raise. You don't go in there and go, look, you've been an asshole for 2 fucking years, and I'm sick of your shit, so I need more money.
I mean,
That's
they
not how you do
basically
it.
they basically think they can
It's not
like
Julio. Fuck, no wonder I haven't gotten a raise in 14 years.
but they think this is like when Japan was defeated and we forced them to surrender after we dropped 2 nukes on them. They think that same thing is happening with Russia, and it's not. Russia is winning.
Yeah,
How old
Russia
is
has
this
no.
guy?
Russia
Is he
has
like 12?
no.
This is what-
No, he's got to be in his late 40s, early 50s.
He's just a fucking douchebag, man. This is the best that Illinois has to offer.
Oh, that's
It's
the ultimate
disgusting.
in the woods. All right.
States, and he dares to lecture Zelensky. And Vance, who's made it very clear that he doesn't give a rat's ass what happens in Ukraine, is going to stand there and try to provoke a confrontation.
I honestly could give 2 fucks what happens in Ukraine.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't want people to die, but what the fuck, man? It's Ukraine. I don't live there. I don't. You know.
Think they care about what happens in fucking Mobile, Alabama?
Did we give a fuck about what happened in Ukraine in 1990? No. Did we give a fuck about what happened in Ukraine in 2000? No. Did we give a fuck about what happened in Ukraine in 1980? No. When did we start giving a fuck about what happened in Ukraine?
When
in
Joe
2014,
Biden-
for some
when
reason,
Joe
when Joe
Biden
Biden got
fucking
involved
get
and was
money.
all this other shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Remember, Donald Trump called this invasion brilliant. He said what Putin was doing was brilliant 3 years ago. And it was supposed to last, by the way, 3 days, maybe 3 weeks. We're 3 years into it right now. The Russian economy is on the verge of collapse.
That's bullshit, by the way. The Russian economy is not. Russian economy's gotten way stronger since the fucking war started. I mean, holy fuck.
He's 47, Jim. He's 47.
Well, here's another one. Let's see. There's another idiot.
And he works for CNN.
Yeah. This guy's got problems coming down the road anyway.
I want to
Who,
know
Kinzinger?
why our
Yeah, no,
ally
this
is
is
allowed
Vindman.
to disrespect the United States of America, the leader, the current leader of this free
J.D.
world.
Vance owns,
But let me
Zelensky an
finish.
apology. President Trump owes Zelensky an apology for the way he was treated.
For what?
I demand it.
What?
I demand that they give.
He
Who's that
demands
guy?
it. That's Vindman. He's the guy who should be in jail because he lied about the phone call between Zelensky and Trump and said, Trump was the man. Yeah, that's the guy. Said that Trump was trying to strong arm Zelensky to break the law, to get information about Joe Biden, or withhold money, when it was actually the phone call was actually Zelensky saying, yeah, I think there was a bunch of strange shit going on, and I'm going to look into it and I'll let you know.
I agree JD Vance owes somebody an apology, but it's his boss for fucking speaking out of turn.
Yeah,
and acting
and
like
we
a
talked
fucking
about this the other
12-year-old.
night, Julio. I disagree. I told you this the other night because Trump wants JD Vance to be the heavy as early as he can so that when he runs, people have faith that he knows how to deal with these international conversations. The American public could see it. And I think it's brilliant. Like I told you.
There's a possibility that JD Vance might finish Trump's term out.
Well, yeah, not only that, like my boss
that's a hot
specifically,
take.
specifically tells me, Jim, we're going into a meeting with our manufacturer, Dave. You're coming with me because you'll say what needs to be said. Like he just wants that fucking there. And I know why Trump did it. And I know why he let Vance get away with it, because Trump was already the badass 5 years ago. He said all he had to say. He needs to let JD get it all out there. Let people that were doubting him, like I was in the beginning, going, JD Vance, not too impressive. Now I'm like, yeah, I can get behind this guy. He has
I
some
like him. He needs
values.
some seasoning, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's what he's getting now. But I was expecting Trump to do this in the last 2 years of his presidency, like to put Vance out in front more, let him get more, people see, and so that he's not.
But he'll be campaigning for 2 years, Jim.
Right.
He's got to do it now.
What I'm saying is, it's possible that Trump might, if things are going great and and who knows, even if the midterms don't go well or something happens after depending on how the midterms go and stuff, Trump might say, you know what, I've done everything I can. I'm gonna step down, and we're gonna basically search for a new VP. JD Vance is going to be president, because it's not going to affect JD Vance's presidency. But let's think about it, because then Vance is running as an incumbent president as opposed to a vice president trying to win. It's much easier as an incumbent to win.
I don't
And
think
then
Trump's
he
ego
could
let him
actually
do
get
that.
Oh, Trump. I think Trump is
agree,
a different
Dave.
person, man. Trump's ego 6 years ago, Trump's ego wouldn't have let him sit there the way he did in that meeting and let those other guys talk and just sit back and let it happen. Trump would have had to been the one speaking.
But who laid down the final law? It was Trump. He's like, listen here, you little fucking pissant. I'm not taking your shit. You can get the fuck out of the Oval Office. Like at that.
Well, I'm just saying it would be if Trump is really doing everything not for himself and for the good of the country and what's best for the country, it would be best for the country if JD Vance was in a better position to continue and actually win, as opposed to running as vice president, running as an incumbent president.
If Trump gets our economy to where it was with Vance's VP by the time his term is over, Vance is a lock. He's a lock.
Mm-hmm.
For
I'm
the
just
first
saying,
one.
man. Trump isn't a spring chicken, and it'll be a lot better for Trump. If Trump is able to say to JD, "Let me pick who you're going to run with."
If he starts walking around like Biden, his wife won't let him do it. His wife will say, "No, you're not doing this, Donald."
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think
Ivanka's
Trump's
not
going to get like that. We would know Trump's not a problem. But what I'm saying is, like, what if
It happens quick though, Jim?
Wait, just let me get this out. This is great conspiracy here. What if Trump steps down in 2027? Let's say, all right, says, you know what, I'm stepping down. I've done what I want, and JD Vance decides to pick, say, Don Jr. as his VP.
See. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas, Jim.
But why couldn't he
Now
do
we're
that?
talking.
Just
yeah.
running in 2027.
Here's the thing: it's
on his
because
own.
if Don Jr. is already the VP, it's a lot easier, more palatable for a lot of people to say, well, they're already in there doing it, as opposed to if it's just JD running with Don Jr. as his VP candidate.
I think
he's
it's
already
completely in Trump's personality to want to make like the Trump
Correct.
empire, but you know I'm getting the legacy, like with his kids and fucking Barron or whatever the fuck. Just,
yeah,
I can see that because he's a fucking egomaniac. He is.
I'm gonna call it a night, boys. I'm gassing out.
Oh, yeah, I can smell that over here.
Fuck you.
Well, hold on. You know what? I forgot. I got this to. We didn't play.
Oh,
oh, good.
I heard the Andromeda galaxy and the Milky Way have started crashing. I heard that.
Something, yeah, crashing out.
Yeah.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. Today we've got two outstanding papers to hit in the journals on Mars and the Earth. We're also surveying Andromeda, updating the solar cycle, and of course, we're starting with the last 24 hours on our star. It was a day of filament snaps. While solar flaring remains right around the M-class range as a peak, filaments had a snap-happy last day. The sunspots are few, small, and not magnetically complex enough to make big eruptions, but the filaments are numerous. Some have some good size, and the incoming southern filament system broke away yesterday. Multi-component release, all heading south. The entirety of the eruption was directed that way and will miss the Earth. Same goes for the dense filament release at the limb. Absolutely gorgeous look at 1 billion tons of plasma launched like it's nothing.
Look at that.
Folks, the February sunspot numbers are up. Official data is the black dots. We're down off the peak, but we're still well above the forecasted marks on the red line. We're probably somewhere around the peak of the sunspot maximum right now, and looking long term for perspective, this cycle is pretty much middle of the pack. Not a huge cycle compared to some, but bigger than about a third of them. Up next, we're heading out to the Andromeda Galaxy because the full survey of satellite galaxies, the little dwarf orbiters of the larger Andromeda, is done. As with most galaxies, the distribution of these satellite galaxies isn't what is expected from dark matter models. It's called the satellite galaxy problem. Big topic in cosmology right now. Up next, folks, this was so fun to read. This professor went totally unhinged. Says he was working with the initial Mars data and that there were clearly mushroom and lichen-like creatures that were yellow and purple, but that NASA intentionally faked and changed the data to hide the fact they 100% found life on Mars already. Just
wait, what?
Read this. It's wild. And this is wild, but from an observer science perspective, calling out CO2 is a false trail in climate science. The real drivers of Earth's temperature are the sun and internal heat processes determining how much exothermic activity from the inside occurs. It's like it's a combination of me and ethical skeptic from X. Nice. Folks, The Observer Review is our
Nice.
monthly e-magazine. Every month is a new issue and a special release. This month's special release is video number 4 in the disaster discussions. It's coming to all subscribers today. Next monthly issue coming in 2 weeks. Sign up at the link below. Best way to support us and stay up to date yourself. Then bookmark your
sign up.
archive page where you can access everything we've ever sent out instantly. We greatly appreciate your support. We'll do this all again tomorrow. Right here, right now at 5:30 a.m. in the new Valley of the Sun. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe.
Jim, your boy went hard this morning. Life on Mars, fucking life on Venus, the Andromedans. We're worried about the Mexicans. We're worried about Andromeda.
Definitely. Look at this. This Jim Satala makes the impossible possible. Look at this. I'm not bald.
That was quick. No, that's Julio is the wife.
Julio is the wife, and
That's, of course. Yeah.
I mean,
Dave
Why am I the
Schwarzenegger.
pregnant one, you fucker?
Well, he made you Dave Schwarzenegger.
yeah,
Oh.
that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You don't want to be Schwarzenegger?
No,
Okay.
I don't want to
Make
talk
it-
like a fucking retard. I'll be back.
Then why do you? Then why do you?
I don't want to fuck my Mexican goddamn housewife or housekeeper and have a bastard child.
Oh, okay. Man, I was like, wait, what? Wait, Dave, don't say that.
Here you go, Jim. Look at this one.
Ixnay, Barney.
Calm down, Jim. You're gonna have to take a baby
Ixnay.
aspirin.
Yeah. What's this?
So
Exciting news. The Treasury Department has announced that they are suspending all enforcement of the outrageous and invasive beneficial ownership information reporting requirement for U.S. citizens. This Biden rule has been an absolute disaster for small. Yeah, there was this was being, it was blocked. It was sued, a violation of the APA and stuff like that. So they're just saying they're not going to enforce it. That's, yeah, they were trying to basically say, like, we want to know everybody that's involved in
Well,
any
they were-
corporation or business. You got to tell us all this information. It's like, fuck you.
Well, this attorney says, this is great news. As a startup lawyer, I can promise you that this incredibly burdensome federal regulatory requirement was causing small businesses with tight budgets to squander thousands of dollars in legal fees to have high-priced attorneys interpret and execute this Byzantine filing requirement, one that threatens substantial penalties for failing to comply. Ostensibly designed to prevent foreign terrorists and thieves from owning interests in U.S. companies through shell corporations, this law's only practical effect was to make your dry cleaners and lawn guy pay an unreasonable burden to report to Uncle Sugar that they own their LLC. Huh. Fuck.
He lost me when he opened his tweet with "as a lawyer." I'm like, well, I'll just move on.
Okay.
As a lawyer.
As a lawyer.
Well, as a lawyer, he's probably had to fucking listen to customer or clients go, dude, what is this fucking bullshit? I want to start a business and I got to prove I'm a citizen, or like, this is crazy.
It's a personal thing. Every time I've dealt with a lawyer, it's been bad. So it's just, I'm bringing my baggage.
Fair enough.
Look, I got a nice tweet here. I got 6,500 views, 461 likes, 30 retweets. Ooh, buddy. The U.S. should immediately withdraw from NATO. We cannot defend these retards from themselves, and we definitely don't need to be involved in a nuclear war that they are trying to instigate.
All right, boys. I'm heading out. Thank y'all so much, Jim.
Oh, hey, no problem, buddy.
See you, Cynic.
That's
See ya.
sarcasm. That's
See ya,
sarcasm.
cynically
No,
stimulated.
it's not. It's definitely not sarcasm. I just thought Ruby was going to come in here.
He went. He passed out. He literally.
He's
just
right
woke
here in the
back up.
fucking chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He literally just woke up.
Oh, well, then he should get in
Is he
here.
an old man? Jesus Christ,
fresh.
he's 30
Dude,
something years
some of these
old.
fucking people that I hang out with, I don't know.
I'm very upset.
They go to bed at like 10 o'clock. They drink warm milk. Like they're taking Metamucil and shit. It's fucking weird, man.
How dare you?
I mean, sometimes Metamucil's good for you. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you haven't been eating a lot of vegetables, take a little Metamucil.
I like a little bran in the morning.
A little bran. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
get
know.
that. You know what? I don't mind bran cereal. It's good shit.
Yeah, this is-
I take
this-
Metamucil every fucking day, dude.
This is the guy,
The Walmart
Sturmgewehr.
brand's better, by the way.
This is the guy, Sturmgewehr,
No,
that's
it's not.
talking about putting boots on the ground in Ukraine. Look at him.
It's cheaper,
Is
but
it
it's
a
not
British
better.
guy?
Yeah.
Is that the British Prime Minister?
Yeah.
Oh,
Vote Labour.
oh. Why would you do this?
Yeah, I wouldn't have let him film me punching.
This
myself.
is this is he's been training at the gym with steel toe.
See, now this is why this is
I pay for that.
this is when you believe women can kick men's ass. Like I could believe a woman could beat his ass.
What kind of
Kevin says Ruby is so little. How much energy can someone that small have inside of him?
But I mean, I'm like, what man has not thrown a punch that like at all that they punch a heavy bag like that? I mean, that looks like something my 2-year-old grandson would punch like that because you know he doesn't got it down yet.
He looks like he's trying to push it rather than punch it.
Could you show that again, Jim? It's only 10 seconds.
Yeah, let's
You don't
watch
mind?
it one more
'Cause
time.
I need to see
this
this.
because
Again.
this is embarrassing.
He's pushing it.
What?
Pop. You got to pop. You got to follow through and pop.
And why is douchebag wearing a mask? Why is the other guy wearing a mask?
They're all wearing masks. Look, this guy's wearing a mask. This guy's wearing a mask.
What
They don't want to catch AIDS from this guy.
I would immediately killed everyone in that building if I was the prime minister and destroyed that tape.
They're wearing masks because they're all laughing so fucking hard.
Well, it was back during COVID. I remember seeing this now.
Oh, it's that old?
Yeah.
How'd they elect this guy?
Well,
Because he spelled
They didn't
labor
see
the
him.
wrong way?
Well,
They
see,
didn't see him
technically
punch
they don't vote like that in the in these parliamentary
boys,
systems. They don't vote. See it, Cynic. See it. They don't vote for a president or whatever. The prime minister is chosen by the as the leader of the party, and then it's the party that has the most seats. So it's not a vote like that.
Well, Jim, actually, and I don't know, or you might know this, Dave, but I've always wondered. I hear like they're calling for an election. Like, do they not? I don't understand how that works. Can they just say,
Well,
hey, we're
they
gonna
can
election
call-
in 2 months?
No, they can call for an election like a snap election type of thing, where it depends on the basically the people. I don't know how it works exactly. Somehow they get enough people to call for it, like to because they're none of their coalition or their governing government is made up of different parties, and they it's not like one party control type of thing. It's a hey Ruby, it's a group of people, so the coalition falls apart and then they don't have enough people, you know what I mean, to actually hold the government anymore, so they have to call for an election to get a new coalition or whatever. That usually will happen if someone thinks like if a certain group in a coalition thinks they could get more votes, more seats, so they'll have more power, or maybe they have a better alignment with someone else. It's weird,
I'll have to find a video on that because I've always been curious. Because I hear, oh, we're calling for an election next month. I'm like, well, what?
Hello, guys. What are we talking about?
We're talking about how the Americans and the Russians are gonna become allies, and we're gonna negotiate together and work to mine all the gold in Siberia and battle the Chinese.
I'm for it. I'm 100% for it. Yeah.
Order for life.
Maybe we need to add China in that deal too, so we can take control over everything. I don't know.
NWO Wolfpack.
Hey, has anybody
right.
heard anything more about the whole Gene Hackman thing about him? Like, I read something. I read something about that they have like information from his pacemaker that makes him believe that like maybe he was laying on the ground dying for like 8 or 9 days.
Jesus Christ!
Like I don't know.
He died? I didn't know he died.
Yeah. Well, that's the weirdest thing. Gene Hackman's dead. His wife's dead, and one of their dogs is dead. They found him all. So you would think like, okay, how did this happen? And
I thought she killed him. I thought she killed him and then killed the dog and then herself. But it doesn't sound like that's the case.
Yeah, like it's
It sounds like
possible.
he died of
like,
natural causes.
He died of natural causes. They're saying, but she might have OD'd. Like she might maybe he died and she was so distraught she took a bunch of pills and then died, and then the pills got on the floor and the dog ate some of the pills and died. That's a possibility.
Could it have been carbon monoxide or something like
No, they checked. It wasn't carbon monoxide.
It's
okay,
weird, though.
yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. Weird.
Was he on that Epstein list?
It's possible.
Might find out, or we might not. Apparently, it's taken them forever to release that.
Yeah, that shit was weird. They got all the names redacted and shit.
I don't. Did we didn't look at this one, did we? Where he says we have to send our sons and daughters there to fight.
I don't think we looked at this. No.
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war, and they will have to fight because it's NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying. The U.S. will have to send.
That's why he can't be in NATO.
The audacity of this fucking asshole. It's insane.
Yeah, right.
Who the fuck are you? Who do you think you are?
Ukraine's not even part of NATO, are they?
No. I think we know, though. We got it right here. This is what happened.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. And what
Oh man!
And if they renamed Ukraine Russia tomorrow, would it affect our lives at all?
No.
No,
it would not.
Really? Don't give a fuck.
Would it affect the Ukrainian lives at all? Like, I don't think anything would change for them.
See, that's another thing I don't understand because they keep saying all stuff, but then I keep seeing videos of these people like partying at nightclubs in Ukraine.
I know.
And stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, I thought you were at war. What's going on?
They did a man on
living in fear. Like,
man on the street interviews about what the Ukrainian people think about this Trump thing, and they're out there walking down the street, bars open. I'm like, okay.
Let's see. Who is this guy? Look at this beard.
Alex
What's up with
Jones.
this? Man, he looks fucking like.
I am begging everyone, not just in America, but around the world, to take what I'm saying.
Wow,
here very
Alex has lost some
seriously.
weight.
He's
huh?
begging everyone to take his ultra male vitality. He needs the money. Buy as much as you can before they take him out of business. They're trying to stop you from being ultra male vital. It's aided. So get some today.
And understand that what I'm telling you is what basically all the mainline military analysts, not just here but around the world, agree on. Okay?
Isn't he breaking YouTube rules?
Give the war that Europe.
What do you mean?
I don't think you're allowed to stream and drive.
He's not. It's on. It's on X first of all, and
I don't think these streaming sites like you driving and streaming at the same time.
well, he's not really driving and streaming. This is just—it's a green screen behind him.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. You can see. Look. You can see there's a person holding the phone. See, there's a camera. You can see it here. It's mounted. And then there's a dog. The dog is actually driving. You can see the dog's head. See, there's the dog's ears. A dog is
So
driving.
he's living
the
in
car.
Britain. Yeah, okay.
It's a dog driving the car. See,
He's got
Right?
a European model, this Mustang that he's
Yeah.
in. All right.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I don't think YouTube has a rule against dogs.
NATO, it's been going on for 15 years against Russia, totally encircling them, continues in every scenario and it's a nuclear war. Okay? That's why Trump's trying to stop this. Okay? Because once Russia defeats the NATO proxy forces, which it's done, NATO is going to invade officially. So today, Keir Starmer and Zelensky, all of them met with the European leaders, and they agreed, the majority of them, to send troops in the next month, calling them peacekeepers to fight the Russians. That's not what peacekeepers do. Do you fucking understand me, okay? This is not a game. Now, why would they be so crazy? Because the EU's collapsing their birth rate. They're flooding them with illegals, massive socialist taxes. They said their business model is a 30-year war with Russia, and they think Russia will back down and just let them have a conventional war with them. And then the deputy head of the unelected EU Commission said a month ago, and then we're going to break up Russia. I mean, these are psychotics, okay? They're absolutely out of their minds. I mean, Keir Starmer used to run the government pedophile cover-up operation for 15 years. Look it up. I mean, these are real demons, people. They launched COVID, for God's sakes, and got caught. So their backs are against the wall. The only move they have left, the only card they have, Trump talks about cards, is war. Is that control. I remember like 15 years ago, France tried to pull out of the EU. And I remember the head of the EU said, there'll be war if you do. What they mean is we'll have NATO start a war with Russia. That's how NATO and the EU hold the world hostage, is by using the threat of war with Russia to maintain control and get hundreds of billions a year in military funding they launder to themselves. It's a bunch of crooks, and Trump is trying to bring it to an end. This is so dangerous. So I'm going to say it again. They had their conference yesterday and today, and they just announced in the EU, the headlines are all on X, just Politico, AP, Reuters, just, oh, hey, peacekeepers sending troops, and many of them get killed. Well, Article 5 is invoked, and now NATO's officially at war with Russia. They're not even going to try to use Romania now as the detonator. Now they're just going to do it themselves. Total madness. Everything's aligned for total war, and Trump has said that. This is beyond insane. I'm going to be on the air coming in like an hour and a half, covering all of this. Just get your shit together, people, and get serious and get out of your normalcy bias. We're in the fourth turning right now. And normally governments and empires launch big wars during these crises to stay in power, but there's nuclear weapons now. We can't do it.
I don't think that's a Mustang. Wow, that's an awesome pause.
No
It's like,
cock, please.
oh my God.
No cock.
No, Alex Jones finally sees the aliens.
I just want to know if Ruby's jealous that he's actually driving a vehicle.
A little bit. I'm a little jealous.
Better.
Don't worry, I'll be driving a vehicle soon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know how I can get it through, people. I saw some of the conservatives. Oh, France are pussies. They can't fight. They're going to go attack the Russians and then drag the U.S. into it. Starmer said, we're going to go to war with Russia in a video I posted and as peacekeepers, and then America will have to defend us. They're dragging us into fucking nuclear war. God damn it. Fuck.
I mean, I can't really argue with some of that. Pedophile
on
stuff,
point.
maybe, but
I think if Biden was still in there, it'd be a greater threat because he would fucking do it. Trump ain't gonna do that.
Wow, look at that gap in his front teeth.
Nice.
That looks like that looks so straight that it's got to be
They're
cosmetic.
fake. Yeah.
he had a gap put in his tooth cosmetically, Jim. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like it's got to be like veneers or something.
Oh, no, I'm sure his teeth are. Yeah. Yep. Shit.
Anyway, what else is
All right, Jim. It's 1 o'clock in the morning
Oh,
on my
man.
end. So I want to stay, but I got to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So
No problem.
but I appreciate you. I love the politics streams. Love this shit. So I
I
appreciate
do
you having
too.
me on.
Yeah. I thought Chris Bacon was going to come on. He said something about coming to talk politics, but I guess he was busy doing other stuff.
All right, Jim, Dave, Ruby.
All right.
Thanks. We'll see you guys.
Thanks, Julio.
Thanks for coming by.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And then there was 3. What, you're leaving too,
Hello.
Ruby? You just got here.
No, I'm not leaving.
But yeah, so where were we? Oh yeah, so bookmarks back here. We had this guy that. Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Oh, this one. Yeah, let's see. We were watching this before we got interrupted, and then with this clown saying that
Our ally is allowed to disrespect the United States of America, the leader, the current leader of this free
J.D.
world.
Vance owns,
But let me
Zelensky an
finish.
apology. President Trump owes Zelensky an apology for the way he was treated.
For what?
I demand it.
What?
I demand that they give.
he demands it. Who the fuck demands what?
I'm going to go ahead and say preposterous things like Zelensky owes an apology for being attacked. I'm going to go ahead and say something outrageous. Actually, I'm
If
going to go
the
ahead.
price of you say
I
that
think these
Ukraine
guys.
wants
I think
peace.
J.D.
Hold
Vance
on,
should
hold on, hold
resign.
on.
How about
Hold
that?
on.
We're just going to go through crazy stuff.
Here's the thing. He hasn't been retired that long, this lieutenant colonel. He's still under what's known as the Ready Reserve. Technically, he's still in the military. He could be recalled and court-martialed for what he just said, which I would be for. Because
Yeah, why
he's an
not?
asshole, and B, I don't like him. And C, I think he's a traitor, and he's all deeply involved in Ukraine. He was offered, the Ukrainians wanted him to be their defense secretary.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He was
Did
deeply
they do
involved.
that?
Well, because he's immigrant. He was not born in the United States. He emigrated from him and his twin brother emigrated from Ukraine in the late 80s.
Oh, well, that's wouldn't that be like a conflict of interest to have somebody?
You would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so. Yeah. This is the guy that, remember with the whole phone call that they impeached Trump for because they said he
Yeah.
called Ukraine? This was the guy
Yeah.
who leaked it all out and it did all the stuff. And it turned out that it was all a lie, that it was actually Zelensky saying to Trump that there was some shady shit going on with Burisma that I think we should look into.
Damn. Charge him for treason and fucking execute him.
Charge him for something. What do we got here?
Here you go. Make sure the volume's up and everything. Here we go. Thanks, Eric E.
It's raining people.
Is it raining ice arms?
Hey, Orange Man, bad, let me in.
Thanks for your collaboration. And remember, don't come back again.
Y el gringo nos quiere cobrar el muro. Dile que no, pinche gringo racista. Pues no te pagaremos nada.
Wait a minute, please.
I wish it was that good, don't you?
Yeah, I wish it was like that too. Would be nice. But you know, we live in a world where we got a lot of pussies.
Yeah.
How is our border process going though, Jim? Has it declined greatly?
They said it's like 30-year lows or something with encounters at the border. Now I don't know. They're
It's Trump's administration, of course.
yeah. Well, yeah, no, because they know they're not. They were told they're not going to get in, so they're not even sending them. They're trying to sneak them in other ways, but they know that it's not going to be a. It's not going to work to try and sneak
Are we
them in.
deporting people though? Are we still deporting them daily or what?
They're deporting a lot of them. It depends on how many is a lot. What is this here?
Hello.
Uh-oh. Jim's gonna do it.
Hello. I'm just gonna lower my volume down.
Oh,
What?
Ruby.
What?
Dude,
What?
do it. Here you
What?
go.
What?
What?
What is happening?
What?
What is happening? What is
What?
happening?
Oh,
What?
Ruby.
Oh no! Oh no!
Ruby,
Oh no!
Ruby, Ruby.
Oh no!
What?
Jim! Steve!
What is happening? What is happening? What is
What?
happening?
Oh, shit.
Oh no! Oh no!
Ruby,
Oh no!
Ruby, Ruby.
Oh no!
What?
Jim! Steve!
What is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
This is a madhouse! A madhouse!
Jim loves doing this. So good.
This is a madhouse!
I want to see how small we can
Jim
get.
loves doing this. So good.
Zig, hi.
Holy
I want to
shit.
see how small we can get.
Stiff arm syndrome forever.
I want to see how small we can get.
Stiff arm syndrome forever. Stiff arm syndrome forever. How deep are you in, Jim? Like 30?
I don't know. I can't see it. So
Infinite.
Rosick says I'm high as fuck.
I had the volume turned down all the way. Son of a bitch.
I thought it was kind of low.
Oh shit.
You had a good stream tonight, Ruby.
Oh yeah, it was a damn good stream. I think that stream tuckered me out. My volume down.
Oh, Ruby.
What?
Dude,
What?
do it. Here you
What?
go.
What?
What?
What is happening?
What?
What is happening? What is
What?
happening?
Oh god! Oh no! Oh no!
Ruby.
That was fun.
I'm beefing with that gay guy. What? Why are you beefing with gay people, cynic?
I thought he was
Gay,
going
man.
to bed. Why is he a liar?
Gays attract each other, dude. What are you talking about? They like to have little bitch fights.
Stimulated in Nick or stimulated in Crazy Cat?
What's up with Nick? Why does Nick never come around anymore?
I don't know. I don't know at all. Not cool.
So here's
he's in Ruby Stream all the time, though.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, another one, Jim?
Yeah, let me see. This was
Good
yesterday,
morning, folks. Welcome, observers. Another month begins.
Oh yeah, you weren't
Today
on
we're
last
going to hit a
night.
new way to see
What happened to you last night?
We'll peek in on
You passed out again?
Passed out.
Astrophysics of the solar wind and pre-seismic anomalies. But we're starting, as always, with the last 24 hours on our star. Things are relatively calm for the time being. Far side eruptions continue, and there are plenty of reasons to keep watching
all the
the sun
time.
right now, mostly the plasma filaments. You can see them as the thin, dark ropes of plasma here wiggling around in the corona.
You gotta watch
and they
out for those
appear
dark
similarly
ropes.
in 304 angstroms here. This is ionized helium. The golden bronze colored views at the start were returns from ionized iron. These filaments are on watch just in case they do what several others have done in the last week, erupt. There was one such event off the far side yesterday. All the eruptions have been off the far side, actually. You can see it going off there behind the limb. Pretty solid blast would have been equivalent to about an X1 or X2 by the look of it. Filament eruptions have not targeted Earth in many months.
It's just amazing to me when you see these things coming off of the sun the way they do, the size of it, and this, it's like
it's crazy.
And nobody.
Solar
I mean,
flares.
you don't really hear about it anywhere except for here.
Yeah.
Like this guy, or you don't.
Or the Science Channel.
Yeah,
But that's still a thing.
I don't understand it. I would think there'd be more. I think there'd be more people talking about this
The
stuff.
solar wind shows we're still inside the elevated stream near 700 kilometers per second, but that stability, even at the higher pressure, is adjusted to by Earth's field, and geomagnetic conditions are steadying slightly. Also worth noting that while the corona hole responsible for that stream is seen departing here to the right, over on the left, just cresting over the edge into view now is another darker region that may be the next corona hole system incoming there, and confidence should be fairly high on that one actually, since Gong at the National Solar Observatory shows the departure of the positive corona hole in green and then the negative opening cresting that
Oh
limb
yeah,
on the
Jim,
left.
how is your shoulder feeling
New
since
corona graph
Friday?
from NOAA. Pulled a nifty trick
You know what?
yesterday since it's not
It's
at
still messed up. I've just been trying to not
lift your
not
kid.
do
On it?
Yeah, not do anything to make it worse. But hey, I have noticed, since people are talking about not heavy lifting and stuff, this stream only has one like, and there's like 24 people watching. Maybe a couple people hit the like button.
Refresh your page.
Oh, refresh it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
refresh it.
You sure?
Yeah,
Oh, wrong page.
you got 19 likes, dude.
L1 a million miles
Oh,
upstream.
all right.
of the
Hey,
solar
thanks for
wind
hitting that
from
like
orbit
button,
around the
people.
Earth. It can see
You're
the
welcome.
Earth-shine reflection
girls.
off
Let's
the
go.
moon. I'd actually
Nina.
forgotten about
Where are we
this, but
going?
it was something that several keen
going in the
astronomers were
cage.
discussing around the launch time. Very, very cool. Now we're going to seismicity, where the most interesting quake hit Texas yesterday. Very above
Texas?
average for the region.
Texas?
Also have a couple polar quakes worth noting.
I
That's where
wonder
Eric
if
live.
yeah, but I wonder if that quake had anything to do with the
ISOM
Alpha
3
Core.
numbers.
Well,
Oh.
maybe either did ISOM fall and hit a car, or did Alpha Core's spaceship crash into floor spark?
Two.
Probably
top
the latter.
stories today begin here. Ever more reason to look at the electric potential as an accelerator in the solar wind. This is almost certainly a critical aspect of the process. The Alphane waves coming from coronal holes seem to suggest it rings true, and here we see the team actually trying to work around that electric force and conclude they cannot do so. Finally, folks, a revisiting of the quake that actually started it all in terms of pre-seismic anomalies. It was the Demeter satellite that caught weird atmospheric electricity anomalies for days over a region in China, and then disaster struck. New paper here confirming the veracity of that data that kicked off an entire new field of science. Folks, the Observer Review is our monthly e-magazine, but we also have a special release, either prose or a video, every month as well, diving deep in the disaster is coming sent out instantly. I am in the new Valley of the Sun. Eyes open.
Jim's favorite
No
part of the
fear.
stream.
Be safe,
For the-
everyone.
Videos.
Be safe. Be safe, everyone.
Say
You working tomorrow, Ruby?
No, I'm off tomorrow.
Mm.
Thank
Is
God.
tomorrow a holiday of some sort? No.
Mardi
Oh,
Gras season.
daylight savings times next week, guys. Yes.
Yay.
Yes. Fucking love it.
You love daylight saving times? Why?
Because I like the sun to be up at fucking 9 o'clock at night, not down at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Wonder what else
Try
this idiot's going to
You
say.
say Ukraine wants peace. If Zelensky wanted peace, then he would have kept his mouth shut.
He did until there were
Okay.
lies.
What?
Until there were
What
lies.
was the
JD
lie?
Vance
What
didn't lie
was
about
the
anything.
lie?
They were talking about
not a
diplomacy.
dictator. That wasn't.
That's not what he
Who
was
said that
responding
today?
to. That's not what he was
No one
responding
said
to.
that. I want to.
Until there was lies. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, what's this? Watch Zelensky and UK stars underneath their truth. Oh, here's that Bachai Ungar Sargon lady. Let's see. What does she look like? Oh, I see it now. I see
She's
it
a 6.
Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, what do you guys think
Who's
about
the
this?
black
Trump
guy?
announced. We'll get to that in a second. I love the genius of announcing a strategic reserve on a Sunday when traditional markets are closed and Wall Street sleeps. For the first time, retail investors win. Traditional finance better catch up, or it will quickly become extinct. The world no longer runs Monday through Friday. So Trump announced that we're buying cryptocurrencies, as in we, I mean the government. Bitcoin, Ethereum, some other ones. I don't know.
All I
So
know
does that
is
mean-
my bitcoins were dead 2 days ago. Today they shot up like 38%.
Wow.
Fucking insane.
So we're borrowing money to print money to buy cryptocurrency to drive up cryptocurrency so the people that were investing in cryptocurrency will make more money so that they can pay more taxes so that they can print more money so they can buy more crypto. Kind of seems like it's a circular thing of it's going to keep going up and buying more and it'll go up more. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, like Bitcoin down to $93,000 when it was $100,000 a month ago. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Well, I
The
can't
Haitian-
afford Bitcoin.
Yeah. This says the Haitian man who stabbed 3 people to death came into the U.S. in 2024 under Biden's CHNV migrant flight program. Biden imported this psycho into our country who then murdered 3 people in North Carolina.
Jeez.
God damn.
Yeah.
Big
the
ass
media,
head.
the real, yeah. Is that the same guy? No, that's a different guy.
No,
This was-
that's the guy
this-
from UK.
This was the UK, the guy that killed a bunch of people. The media was putting out the picture of him. Like, I don't know why they do that shit, man. Why can't they just put out what they look like? Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Hold on, this is good.
Oh yeah, I
This
saw
is,
this morning.
Yeah, this is the crazy
Asian
Chinese CCP backed. She's a Chinese spy that's in charge of Boston.
My condolences and all of our thoughts are with the family of the individual whose life has been lost.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends
Oh, and this is a Soros prosecutor, the district attorney.
of the individual who's been lost.
So our condolences go to the individual who was killed tonight.
Yeah, so their condolences go to the individual who was killed. The individual who was killed was a psycho, tried stabbing a bunch of people in Boston, was stopped by a cop who shot him. Boston officials went on TV with condolences to the attacker. Yeah, so you see, what happened was this guy chased a bunch of people, tried to kill him, and then got killed, and they're apologizing to the... This is fucking retarded.
Yeah, very retarded.
And then I saw somewhere else that California is trying to pass a law that says you can't, if someone breaks in your house, you can't kill them. You have to run away.
That's retarded.
Yeah, really retarded.
Can we just consider California a failed state?
Definitely. Boston to Massachusetts would probably go the same way. You know, Democrats today support forever wars, oppose peace, support corruption, oppose audits, support censorship, oppose free speech, oppose tax cuts, oppose the Second Amendment, and support illegal aliens and open borders. What the fuck is wrong with them?
Forging Freedom has a good point there, Jim.
Well, I guess, but they won't. They'll fuck it up.
You mean they won't pay off the debt with it?
Yeah, they won't pay off the debt with it. They'll do other shit with it.
But it's a good strategy if they do it right. Imagine if you had Bitcoin back in the day, Ruby.
I wish I would have fucking bought Bitcoin when it was like $50 when I discovered Bitcoin, but I never bought it because I didn't understand how to buy it. Kicking myself in the butt.
I had. Never mind. I'm going to get into it.
The opportunity.
Elon Musk just joined Senator Mike Lee in calling for the United States to leave NATO. NATO.
Wait, I'm confused. Well, first we saw him driving in his car. Now where's he? It looks like he's in a crypt or something.
Probably at his house, getting ready to
look
go
at
to
this.
his studio.
I mean, you see these doors?
Looks like a fireplace.
Oh, maybe. I mean, there's a big fucking fireplace.
Maybe sitting in his
left
fireplace.
over from the Cold War.
It's bigger in
NATO
Texas, baby.
is how the EU and the globalists hold America hostage by starting these wars with Russia. NATO continues to expand right to the borders of Russia. NATO and the unelected EU.
Where'd Ruby go?
That represents
His internet sucks, dude.
literally is pushing global government and eating bugs and carbon taxes and the transgenderism and pedophilia. If Russia was doing any of that, I'd be totally against Russia. Communist China is still allied with the left to a great extent, and they're pushing it all too. And now Putin's come out and said, rare earth minerals, U.S., come in, we'll work with you. Just like Nixon split Russia off from China. That's the thing to do. And so Elon Musk coming out and doing this and saying, yeah, it's time to leave. This is a joke, ladies and gentlemen. This is a real revolution we're witnessing right now, and it's very, very exciting. Zelensky is a cokehead demon. Soros brags they've overthrown multiple governments the last 15 years in Ukraine to start this war. Russia started.
I'm hearing some weird noises. Is that coming from his?
In Ukraine, it's their motherland.
It ain't my house.
To start this war. Soros brags they've overthrown multiple governments the last 15 years.
Must
in
be
Ukraine
Ruby.
To start this war. Russia started.
I thought maybe it was on
1,000 years ago
Alex's.
in Ukraine. It's their motherland. This is crazy town, folks. We need
Crazy
to
town,
deal with
folks.
Russia for all their
Yeah,
resources.
we should deal with Russia.
If Russia was doing anything the left was doing here, I'd be against it, but they're not. It's the left. It's the globalists. It's BlackRock. It's Bill Gates. Elon just called out Bill Gates for Jeffrey Epstein Island and all the rest of it. Sure, we already know all that, but the point is it's Elon Musk doing it. It's Trump doing it. This is a real war, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get out of NATO right now. They have none of the cards. We fund almost all of it, over 70% of it. It's all coming to a head. America is reclaiming its sovereignty. We've secured our border. We're putting tariffs in. We're no longer here to be screwed in a colony of the globalists.
No more screwing us.
So exciting. So millions, protesting around the world against this. Hundreds of thousands in Romania when the EU canceled their election a few months ago and arrested their president. I mean, they're the tyrants, folks, and they're the bad guys. God bless you all. Follow me on X at Real Alex Jones.
Definitely. This is better. See, Dave. Jim
Oh man,
tells
that
you.
circle's right perfect with your image. That's awesome. Cool.
Oh, here's another good story. Here we go. Let's see here. Another good story here. A radical anti-police and anti-prison leftist queer activist was arrested in Lansing, Michigan for felony child sex crimes. Zachary Wayland, 34, was arrested on February 18th and faces charges of child sexual abuse activity, 2 counts of accosting a child for immoral purposes, and 2 counts of using a computer to commit a crime. The victim is a 14-year-old girl from North Carolina. Whaley previously worked for several social justice organizations, including Safe and Just Michigan, a nonprofit focused on DEI and criminal justice reform. He also served as a staffer for Survivor Strong and Firecracker Foundation, both dedicated to supporting survivors of sexual abuse, including child victims. What the fuck? So this guy was working for organization. What was he trying to find people that were already victims so they could victimize them again? Following his arrest, local activists took to social media to share their experiences. Several women noted that he painted his fingernails, reported to appear less threatening, and build trust with female peers. Whaley was frequent participant, Black Lives Matter protests, and other activist events in the area. Let's see. So this is what he looks like. This is him posting about the. Oh yeah, we send our condolences to the family of Joseph. Oh, he's the one who tweeted this out about. We send our condolences to the families of Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber. We also are holding space for Gage Grosskreutz and their loved ones as they continue to heal from the impact of the white supremacist violence enacted by Kyle Rittenhouse and perpetuated by the criminal legal system. We hear the message being sent. We reject it. Black people and their non-black accomplices deserve safety. What? Accomplices. You realize when you say accomplices, that means it's people that are committing crimes? That's what an accomplice is? Holy fuck. Let's renew our commitment to betraying white supremacy. Why would you want to betray white supremacy? Why wouldn't you just want to not support it? Dismantling all systems of oppressions and building frameworks for justice that heals. We can't not trust the unjust system to deliver whatever. That's crazy talk, man. That's just crazy talk. Here he is. Oh, at the high school. Look at that. Oh, with all these people. So proud of these kids. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Fuck, creep. I remember the day he told me at Best Buy that he painted his nails to make women comfortable around him and more likely to trust him, especially while in DVSA groups. I could vomit. Perpetrators are everywhere. Yeah. I remember when he would paint his nails, it was a bit odd. Yeah.
A bit.
Very sketchy. Lansing resident arrested for child sexual activity. Yeah, this is the guy. More of it here. Yeah, he was posting all types of shit about George Floyd. This is. Hey, Ruby.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What do you mean what I'm doing?
Oh, that's not you making the noise?
Is it? Let me mute my mic again.
It sounded like you were falling asleep.
It sounded like something. But you see this going on in South Carolina?
Where is this in South Carolina? By the ocean?
No, it doesn't say where. It just says South Carolina. I hope this isn't by Kumia's house.
Yeah, get a job at ABC and then your house fucking burns down. That would suck.
Looks like somebody might have started a fire somewhere. I don't know. I think a little bit of fire, but there's. And then here, this was in Minnesota today. Look at this. A Minnesota pizza shop reportedly kicked out a group of Republicans who were wearing Trump hats. The store is now saying it was a misunderstanding. How come these misunderstandings and mistakes only go one way? This is original hot hoagies, Devani's. For 50 years, Devani's has been your neighborhood gathering place for quality food, community connection, and making memories. Over the weekend, our team in Adena misunderstood a policy around fundraising efforts in our party rooms, which resulted in an incident that impacted valued guests. We're deeply sorry for the actions taken. What are they saying? They kicked somebody out for... Yeah, I don't get it. Our teams always work to create welcoming, friendly environments and dining experiences for all guests of all backgrounds and beliefs. We have taken quick action to understand, resolve, and work on expanded training for our team members. We take pride in supporting our communities and will continue to live by our values each day. If this impacted you directly or you would like further information, please go to Devani's.com contact, and someone from our leadership team will contact you directly. It says, Devani's Pizza kicking out Republicans and Trump hats is a textbook case of bias dressed up as misunderstanding. The shop's backpedaling doesn't hold water. Funny how these mistakes only ever target conservatives, never the other side. It's not a slip-up, it's a pattern. Private businesses can set their own rules, sure. But when they discriminate based on political beliefs, they're crossing into illegal territory in their laws, like Minnesota's public accommodation statutes. This isn't about hurt feelings. It's about rights being trampled. That's right. So, anyway.
Okay, I figured out what the noise was. I'm just breathing too hard.
Oh, was that it? Okay.
Yeah, the mic is like up close to me. I'm like looking at Twitter and just breathing.
Yeah. So. Nuclear war alert. Oh, yeah, here we go. See what this is. 7 years ago, Trump warned NATO they will one day regret buying Russian oil. Everyone mocked him for it. Let's see what this says.
And Trump did it again in September when he went to the UN and said something about Germany that was so detached from reality, even the German delegation couldn't help but laugh at him.
Germany will become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are committed to maintaining our independence from the encroachment of expansionist foreign powers.
Not only are these dudes laughing, but look at this lady's face.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he was right, and you guys were wrong. So, in other words,
So what's the joke, right?
there is no joke. They're saying like the joke is they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about at the time, and they're making we're dependent now. But now what's happening? Yeah. Yeah.
I hate all these late night guys, Jim. They all suck.
Yeah. Well, it's 1:20 a.m. We've been going for 3 hours and 20 minutes. I think I'm going to call it a night.
Yeah?
Yeah, Sunday night, Monday. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it.
No
It
problem.
was great. If you guys want to stick around for a minute.